taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and to meet with these historians. I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
Come all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
on, tell us how you slew them all Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had knives and bows and arrows. Of how brave you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you run medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Let us hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell and taught them well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Guten Tag! How are we all? I am awake and alive, and that's all you're getting. Alright? We're doing happy hour. No, we're not. We're doing Normal Island. I forget the two name shows that I'm occasionally involved in. We're doing Normal Island. Not with Curtis, though. I believe it's a different person. But anyway, welcome in. Yes, let us not waste time. Not waste time with getting on with the proceedings, shall we? I'll jump straight into the thing, so I'll be talking to other people, okay? That is a wrong link. Awful start. Right, that is also not amazing. Fucking kill me, man. Jesus Christ. What have I got to do to get anything right today? Let's go with... Should we go with that? Does that work at all? Maybe it does. Allow all visiting this site. My name is Kevin Logan. Official pronunciation. Let's change the settings so that it actually comes out of my fucking microphone. Ah, you cunt! As soon as I get the fucking camera set up, it decides to just sort of slightly shift on my fucking table. Sorry, everyone. This is not your fault. Okay? When Daddy argues with himself, it's not your fault. It is my fault. Except it's also your fault. And you're the reason I'm divorcing myself. The Yeti stereo mic. There we go. Right. Yes. Hopefully this works.
Balls.
Hello.
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 How you getting on?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Do I agree to give the host full control?
Yes, you do. And when I mean full control, it means full control.
Okay, well, usually I expect to be bought a meal and a few drinks as first, but,
Yeah, right.
you know.
How are you?
Usually you gotta pay for it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. Kev don't go cheap.
Kev.
He does have a price, though. He does have a
Yeah.
price.
And
You
what
know,
is that price?
tuppence halfpenny. No, yeah. How is everyone? I'm well. Yes.
Yes, all good,
tired.
thank you.
Good.
Don't really have anything new. Are you streaming?
I am streaming. Yes, so
Okay,
you can swear, but probably don't say illegal things.
Okay, well, no, I was about to, but
To be fair, we have to more worry about what you say rather than us.
What like I would ever accidentally endorse terrorism?
I'm pretty sure that's happened.
I would no, I'd do it on purpose, obviously, but never accidentally. That would be ridiculous.
True. Never.
Like I would never say something so silly as "I support Palestine action" because that would be illegal.
saying I support Palestine action would be ridiculous. It would be illegal.
It would be illegal. It would be terrorism, and you get 14 years in jail, and rightly so, in my eyes.
Those pesky wokey lefties.
Exactly.
Those retired people who are obviously just so woke.
Wait, did you
Literally.
already have a cigarette? Because that was quick.
No, I was literally about to go for one. I just wanted to gauge the sound with Kev.
Yeah.
Can
I
we
mean, he's
can
got
we
his
say?
fan on for now, but
Well, exactly. You know, it is too. I'm about to close my window, and turn the fan off. So
yeah,
Does all the sound good?
I think so.
maybe I don't know. 1 second.
Maybe. We'll wait for our viewers to say it sounds awful, and then
Okay, do you want me to go for one now?
yeah, go for it.
Bye, Daddy.
You gonna do it in 2 minutes?
Yeah, give me 10 seconds. Yeah, I could be back in 2.
All right.
Did you see me being athletic, lads?
That was sexual.
Well, you're welcome. No, chat didn't see it, but honestly, like,
Oh.
I was like a leopard chasing a gazelle.
Have you got a retro England top on?
No, I've got a Birmingham City shirt on.
Oh, get that fucking filth off my camera.
Is all I can say to you, sir.
That describes a team, to be fair.
What are you talking about, mate? Going up this year? You're having a laugh.
And then we're going down. Hey.
Fuck it. I'll take that. That's all right. Whatever. I'm used to it.
You know it's not that hot anymore.
Well, maybe not where you are, but in the People's Republic, the Caribbean-esque People's Republic of Birmingham.
People's fucking Republic of Birmingham.
Look, the rats are in control, and the temperature is excessive.
Cool, we're gonna fucking do something about these damn rats.
Nah,
Hey,
they're
okay.
just here now.
Okay.
We've come to peace with it. It's fine.
Right. Should I chuck on the countdown? Is it gonna be back in time?
Oh, my audio's cut out for some reason, which is rather annoying.
No. Should I start it? Alright, I'm doing that now. Should I got all this right?
Yeah, don't worry, 22 Oreos. Curtis isn't on the show. They're producing today, so their audio can be a bit low. It doesn't matter.
I can turn myself up.
Or not. You know, whatever.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Is
is
that
loud.
really loud?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, but I'm a clipping at the moment, I think.
No, well, you're fine. Either way.
Okay.
But like you say, you're not on the show, so it doesn't. Well, I suppose you do the audio at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah.
I think the mics that we use, they're really good, but they're so gain hungry. Like you have to crank it up and then get like an adapter to add more gain to it.
They're gay and they're from Hungary.
True. Do you work in the mornings, by the way?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm usually asleep in the mornings. Why?
Because obviously the England game, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh yeah. No, I'll be on. Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna cope. I'm not a morning person. I need my like sleep, but I can't not fucking watch it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing you don't need: beauty sleep. You've had too much, friend. Eh?
I've had what?
Too much beauty sleep.
Hey! Oh, fucking buttering me up, and I'm not even hosting tonight.
Exactly. Well, look, you never miss an opportunity, you know.
Exactly.
The Kev loves the game more than anything. It's the chase that excites me.
The countdown.
Right. Have a wonderful show. I'll speak to you guys in a bit.
Bye. Kevin, I think I'm just going to start by asking you your general opinion on just like support for Ukraine, and then we can discuss the NATO stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Just to let you know. How would you like me to introduce you? Your online secret sexy profile name or your actual name?
Call me whatever you like. Honestly, call me a fat piece of shit. I don't care. It's fine.
Daddy.
I mean, obviously you're going to call me that. After that, you know.
Hello and welcome back to Normal Island Live. I'm Lewis Aaron and I'm joined today by the wonderful Kevin. Kevin Logan, how are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
I'm not bad. Are you excited by all the amazing news that's continuously coming out and never stops?
Oh yeah, I love it. We live on the most normal line. I just realised I'm quite red. I haven't white balanced my camera properly. Who cares? I'm gammon for tonight. I'm gammon. You know.
You can be the gammon. You can be the devil advocate gammon. What stories have you been following this week? Because I just cannot keep up with everything. I don't know where to look.
I'll be honest with you. Mostly the World Cup is what I've been following. But I presume some sort of politics has been happening too. I don't know. Yeah.
Even my algorithm's been pushing me of all people, and I don't know anything really about football, about that Norwegian player. Like, I think everyone's getting him on his feed. What's his name? Haaland?
Erling Braut Haaland, the Viking, yes.
Do you know where he was born?
He was born in Leeds.
Yeah, my hometown.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until I had a little Google, but he seems to be absolutely everywhere. He seems to be like a nice guy. Don't know, is he a nice guy?
He seems like a nice enough chap, yeah. Yeah, he's because his father was playing for Leeds United in the 1990s. Alf Inge Haaland, yeah.
Oh, my dad was a big supporter back then, but he cried the day that Leeds got relegated. And this is the most amount of time I've ever spoken about sports on camera, so I will move on to the story.
Honestly, if we get any more heterosexual, we're going to have to stop calling it turn bent.
Let's move on to today's stories. But just remember, you can help us grow by visiting turnleftmedia.co.uk/support to help fund our work and become a even bigger YouTube channel and show and help our reach. And also remember, you can become a YouTube member as well. So coming up on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the intelligence that says Russia might attack Poland to test NATO and its allegiances and alliances, according to some leaked intelligence coming out of the Baltic states and the US. Reform's new, but not so new billionaire donor, but I'll explain that a little bit later on. And lastly, we'll talk about the Green Party's strategy in Greater Manchester for the mayoral election, and we'll be seeing if it's working. But let's jump on to the first story. So, recent intelligence reports have raised concerns that Russia may be preparing to test NATO's resolve, particularly through pressure on Poland, the Baltic states, or other countries on NATO's eastern flank. So, sources close to Polish President Karol Nawrocki told Polish outlet ONET that the aim of Moscow's possible assault, which could be launched in a matter of months, would be to provoke tensions and pressure Ukraine's Western allies to suspend their military and financial aid. Now, the important caveat is that officials are not mainly warning about like a full-scale invasion of Poland in particular. Instead, their concern is about hybrid warfare, sabotage, cyber attacks, drone incidents, border provocations, false flag operations, or even limited military actions designed to create confusion, designed to test us out, designed to see how strong we're doing as an alliance. Polish and Western officials are warning that Russia could try to exploit tensions caused by the war in Ukraine, possibly by staging incidents that blame Ukraine or make NATO members hesitate before responding. One theory is that Russia is considering this because the war in Ukraine is not exactly going the way Moscow expected, as we all know, but Russia has taken huge losses and it may be looking for other ways to regain the initiative. Now, rather than directly fighting NATO, it could try and create fear, division, and uncertainty, which is what they've already been doing for a while and a long time. Like, obviously, we're not here to kind of gas up NATO and make it out like it's some amazing alliance that's completely moral, but this is just obviously the reality of the situation. Obviously, we have to consider the relationship between the United States and NATO too under Donald Trump. Now, Trump and his team have persistently questioned America's role in European defense, and more reports have been coming out recently of the US pulling resources away and reducing them in different parts of Europe, especially even Poland. Russia might see this as an opportunity to test whether the alliance is still united. Now, in other words, Moscow may want to... Sorry. Try that again, just getting warmed up. Moscow may want to know if something happens in Poland or if the Baltic states will respond with NATO and invoke Article 5, or they'll probably start with Article 4 first, but we can come to that. Or will there be disagreement between Europe and the United States? Kevin, I didn't want to go into too much detail about like the actual story, but just like the general idea. I don't think there's a point deep diving into where the Ukraine war is currently at.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like before we actually dive into the Russia thing, firstly, like what is your general just opinion on like where we should be in terms of supporting Ukraine?
I am very firmly in the camp of supporting Ukraine and continuing to do so, albeit from an anti-NATO perspective, because fuck NATO. It is essentially an arm of American imperialism used to corrupt democracy in Western Europe largely, but increasingly in Central and Eastern Europe also. They don't actually support the Ukrainian people and are more than happy to smash the Ukrainian people and the Ukrainian nation on the rock of defeating Russia. But in a general sense, I do support Western support for the Ukrainian people because they've been illegally invaded. There's obviously a disgusting, aggressive act of war that's been going on for many years now. Even further back, if we go back to Crimea, of course, which is still occupied Ukrainian territory as well. But a word of warning that I gave to the Ukrainian people at the very beginning of all of this, and has borne fruit and will continue to bear more fruit, don't put your hopes in NATO coming to your saviour in the end, because they're not interested in that. They're interested in using you as essentially the Russian Empire, the sort of new Russian Empire's Vietnam. And that's exactly how they're using them, unfortunately.
Yeah, every time I talk about this conversation, when people are, demonizing Russia, I always talk about the idea of like, don't frame it as like they're the bad guys and we're the good. We're all the bad guys. We are all the bad guys. We're all doing bad shit all over the world and continue to do so. But obviously, they're trying to do different forms of hybrid warfare. I am curious though about the intelligence reports because they've been carrying out hybrid warfare for years, right? We have recently had the people jailed for Keir Starmer's home being burnt down. We've got lots of other instances. I think it was AP News who basically tracked up until last year like every single solid case of like Russian hybrid warfare, burning down warehouses. I think they were responsible for like the trains going down around in Paris last year, just lots of other stuff. So they're already doing it. I'm worried about the idea if they're saying this now, are they going to essentially escalate it? Obviously, we'll get people saying that this is us trying to do a false flag so we can attack Russia, which I don't think anybody's really got the energy or thirst for right now. But I don't know. What do you just generally think? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I would contest that point that no one's got the energy for that. No country has got the energy for that. No people have got the energy for that. But the people who run the show, the people who want the NATO train to continue chugging along and are scared by the rise of people like Donald Trump or the recently ousted Orban in Hungary or whatever, they absolutely want this. They need to be as much saber-rattling towards Russia as possible. And that's why this story is sort of a non-story in a sense. Because when you read the headline, Russia to invade Poland, says report, or something along those lines, you think in your mind, oh, that means it's like Ukraine, they're going to invade on the ground. And of course, the report doesn't really say that. The report essentially says they're going to carry on doing the things they've been doing to all Western belligerent Western and Central European countries all the time anyway. The amount of accidental Russian flybys into Finnish airspace or Estonian airspace or Polish airspace has been, those kind of border provocations have been happening constantly. They have been consistently doing wargaming right on the border of the Baltic nations. We've seen even here in Britain and in the western northern outreaches of Europe, the Russians sending ships into the Irish Sea, going down the English Channel into British territorial waters, and all of this sort of stuff. They've been doing this constantly. We know that they use Russia Today as a quote-unquote news outlet, as a propaganda wing, and they set it up in places just before there's an election so they can directly influence these things. They want to sow division. That's exactly what their game has always been. That kind of hybrid warfare is something they're very good at. That's why they were happy to influence the American election to get Donald Trump in, because they knew that would weaken NATO. That's why they were happy to go on the side of Brexit in order to try and bring that about, because again that weakens the European alliance. This is a thing that Russia have always done, and so for me this story is a story in so much as it's the head honchos of the Trilateral Commission, the transatlantic Atlanticist freaks, the warmongers, desperately trying to saber rattle in a situation that no one really wants. And that's why it's a sort of big story. But for me, the bigger story surrounding intelligence from Russia this week was actually that Peter Mandelson was considered one of their greatest assets.
I have been a bit removed. I've been deep in investigation, doing other stuff. Tell me that I have not seen this.
Oh yes. No, reporting came from Russian sources that Peter Mandelson was well known to higher ups in the Kremlin, and that he was considered an asset in the British establishment. Not necessarily a spy or anything like that, because that's not what an asset needs to be, of course. An asset can just be something that you can use to hurt your enemy, even if it's unwittingly. For instance, I mean, a famous example would be someone like Vladimir Lenin. The Russians, the Germans purposely let him through as a Russian citizen through German lines in the First World War to go back and do the Russian Revolution, to weaken a political enemy. It doesn't mean you're directly working on behalf of a government, but also he kind of probably was working on behalf of a foreign government. We'll wait and see if anything happens there. Allegedly. But yeah, it turns out that old Pete was, whilst saber-rattling about how terrible Jeremy Corbyn was as a Czechoslovak Soviet agent, was himself, it seems, if not necessarily directly on the payroll, then certainly of significant use to the Russian government.
I think one thing that I'm almost like more scared of, and what kind of annoys me sometimes about these stories, obviously we should take like intelligence leaks seriously, right? It was the US who actually did release the intelligence months before the US the invasion of Ukraine. It was accurate,
right? But also they said, you know, nuclear warheads in Baghdad and shit like that. Like, oh, they can have missiles in 45 minutes. Like, you understand the game they're playing.
Yeah,
right? It's like that's not to say everything they say is wrong, but everything should be taken with a pinch of salt.
Did you hear about Netanyahu claiming the other day that Iran did in fact actually have, I think the word that he used was atomic bombs? Did you hear about this?
Well, you think he'd have mentioned it, considering he's been saying they're 5 minutes away from getting an atomic bomb for the last 40 fucking years. You think he'd have mentioned, oh, they actually got the atomic bomb, lads. Honest, they definitely did this time. We haven't, but they definitely have.
We all love a bit of propaganda. I think what like annoys me more about these conversations when it comes to intelligence of like possibilities of like physical attacks, which obviously are scary because it's the idea of something, you know, physical bombs, hybrid warfare, whatever it might be. It frustrates me the complete lack of wanting to do anything for the online type of hybrid warfare that Russia have been carrying out. Obviously, I think I mentioned it on the show a couple of weeks ago. I helped an investigation with Byline Times where we found that a Russian network that Tommy promoted on social media while he was in Russia was the same organization who started basically sowing the seeds for the foundations of propaganda around Henry Novak before anybody even knew the name. They were already 2 weeks ahead of the game before the case was even finalized, just getting ready to just try and amp it up as much as they possibly can. And obviously they've been doing this for years. They do it with loads of things. It's not just Russia who's in the game. We know loads of people, I'll just say people because it's states, entities, individuals who are at this game. But we see the harm that it's doing to society slowly, and in some ways it's speeding up. But absolutely nothing's done about it. But we should care about like the idea of them potentially attacking Poland. But it almost annoys annoys me that they don't basically pay any attention to this like obvious foreign online interference too.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Well, Tommy Robinson, the Kremlin Gremlin, as I think we should refer to him from now on.
I like little Tom Tom.
Well, Tel Aviv Tommy, Ten Name Tommy, Turkey Teeth Tommy, whichever you prefer. Stephen Yaxley learning to give him his real cunty fucking name. Anyway, he's, again, another one of his best friends being done for making illicit images of children this week. Is he the man photographed with more paedophiles than any other human being in history? I don't know. Anyway, he was in Russia with this, like you say, this disinformation network and all the rest of it. The Russians have been doing this constantly, and we know they have. The Russian bot farm has been a kind of meme in of itself for a long time now. And the perfect example of the abrogation of duty on behalf of this was today, Lisa Nandy, government minister, rather than using governmental power to force Twitter, a known Russian disinformation vector, especially when you have such an idiot running it who will happily amplify bullshit disinformation, the richest man ever, ridiculously. Again, going to show that capitalism does not actually reward the best and brightest amongst us, but there we go. Lisa Nandy stated today that she was leaving Twitter, and so were her government department, rather than regulating them to force compliance with actual pre-existing law or anything. They're just going to give up completely. Not only are we not going to fucking regulate them, we're not even going to stay and argue our case on these platforms anyway. What's the point?
I think I've got actually a potential solution for this. So, maybe people can write to their MPs if they agree with it. If the social media regulation is going ahead, regardless of anybody's opinion of it, if it is going ahead and we can get a win out of it, we can, which is if people are going to have to, in the UK, confirm through identity that they are in fact over 18 to be able to access social media, or 16 or whatever it is, why not just add a little piece in the legislation, an amendment that says that the social media companies have to put a little badge on somebody's profile saying that this person has been verified to have been living in the UK. Would take nothing. Almost like when Elon turned on locations in America, and it was like half the MAGA accounts were based in like Pakistan and like Sri Lanka and wherever else around the world. I think it could be useful in rooting out a lot of these accounts. I think it was Politics Home, was it today or yesterday, published a little article about how one of the most popular restore pages on Facebook is actually ran from an account in Bangladesh.
Not surprised. The Save White Culture account that was being run from Bangalore was my particular favourite. These people are whether they're being paid or by whom is difficult to say. It's very opaque. But yeah, I think that would probably help. But actually, I think you could go further, and with something like Twitter, in the same way that we banned Russia today for being an obvious foreign disinformation peddling, democracy undermining platform, I think we could do exactly the same with Twitter and just fucking ban it. It's a shithole.
I think the problem with doing something like that right now is my same argument for a lot of things, unfortunately, which is the US would punish us. We'd have to do an international movement to make big moves against social media, and it doesn't seem like anybody's got the thirst for it right now. But we will have to move on to the next story, unfortunately, because the next one's a bit more juicy, maybe. So I don't know if everybody saw today, but we had a lovely headline from the Telegraph that a new reform billionaire is now backing them. He said that he's going to give regular payments and aspire to be the second or third biggest donor behind Christopher Harborn and now Ben Dello. But this donor is actually not new. The Telegraph published an exclusive article today with an interview with Sasan Gandhari. You may have heard the name before. I've covered it before. And he was with Farage at Reform HQ in London during the interview. And just to quickly add in, the photo here that you're seeing is one of the only photos in existence of Sasan Gandhari. I have helped investigate these donors for months, and there's almost no photos of him anywhere. He comes from a very quiet and shadowy background. He basically barely exists anywhere. But anyway, the Telegraph wrote in the article, to make a large donation to reform, Mr. Gandhari must not only be publicly identified on filings to the Electoral Commission, he must also be a resident in the UK for tax purposes after Sir Keir Starmer imposed a £100,000 annual limit on political donations from British citizens living overseas. He confirms that he has started the process of moving his tax residency from Switzerland to the UK to make the donations, saying it's not going to be 1 or 2 million, it's going to be more. At this stage, I'm not going to put a figure on it, but I don't want to be number one. Number one is Chris, so maybe number two, number three. It's going to be regular payments. More of them getting involved, jumping in. But Sasan is a very interesting character. He's previously been, covered before with various investigations. The origins of the Gandhari wealth is still unknown and was referred to in Kazakh media many years ago as Kazakhstan has another billionaire we didn't know about. The theory is there's obviously lots of people post the Soviet collapse made a lot of money, and the theory is by some people, not me because I don't want to get sued, is that is how they made their wealth. Now, the mother of the family is her enemy Parama. She fled from Iran to Kazakhstan, so they are framed as Iranian billionaires, but most of their life has been spent in Kazakhstan to the UK and not actually Iran. Now, in 2008, in an article in The Times, a former KGB officer and former bodyguard to the president of Kazakhstan, Abushli Nazarbayev, accused the Gandhari family of secretly owning property on behalf of the president. In 2020, a National Crime Agency case involving the president's grandson, Nurali Aliyev, showed that there were actually transactions of property upwards of £40 million in that period between Nurali Aliyev's father, Rikya Aliyev, and holding companies and trusts of the Gandhari family. Now, no criminality was proven. I just have to point that out. That's just what was shown in the case. Then we obviously have another investigation. The Gandharis recently paid for a trip for Farage to go to the World Economic Forum, and that was obviously, to take on the pesky globalists where they're at. That's what he went there for, not paid for by the globalists, but he obviously went there to, take them on, along with getting, tickets to the F1 in Abu Dhabi as well. But they have a more recent story and more allegations about the Gandharis and a very dodgy donor, which we've covered before. John Richard Simpson, who has donated hundreds of thousands of pounds to Reform, was not only an employee of the Gandhari family. Months later, we found out that he was actually working for an Iranian regime-linked entity, which is sanctioned and under the control of the Ayatollah and the IRGC. Now, what was interesting about this is that this story really didn't get that much traction, but there is a lot more to it, and hopefully more investigations will be coming out soon. But I can't say too much on camera without getting sued. But the company which donated to Reform through John Simpson was linked to a British Virgin Islands address linked to the Gandhari family. So they have been accused of funneling money through that company to John Richard Simpson to the Reform Party. That has not been proven, but that has what has been essentially insinuated by mainstream media and not me, so don't sue me. And obviously when it comes to this photo, I did actually show this photo that was on screen just a second ago, which we'll get that back up in just a second. This is a photo from Thailand from 2022. You can see on the left there, the guy in the blue purpley shirt, that is George Cottrell. Over to the right is Nigel Farage, and next to him is Christopher Harborne. Now, if we can just take the photo back down a second. The reason I'm showing this photo is because when it comes to the investigations with Nigel Farage, with his £5 million, I do like to remind people, because it's not spoken about often enough in the media, which is George Cottrell has obviously been jailed in the US while he was with Nigel Farage and Isabel Oakeshott, and also Andy Wigmore, if you remember who that is, Google it. He was arrested in the US for offering money laundering services to supposed drug traffickers, but they were actually secretly FBI agents. Before he knew that he was under a sting from the FBI, he instead said, oh, this contract that we're going to do, where I'm going to do money laundering for you, let's not do that. I'm going to grash you into the authorities unless you give me a shit ton of Bitcoin. That is literally what George Cottrell did to the officers who were trying to arrest him for a sting, which is hilarious. However, fast forward, he is out of jail. He's hanging around with Nigel Farage. They're basically seen together in lots of pictures all over the world, including this one in Thailand. And the reason that's important is because he has been playing around in Montenegro for the last few years. He has been working with one of the leading political parties there who was in power for quite a few years and has been accused, but not proven, that he was laundering cryptocurrency to political parties in Montenegro. They deny all allegations, but the reason why that picture is so important is because Christopher Harborne, shortly after the photo that was previously on the screen was taken, Christopher Harborne opened up a company at the same address where Cottrell's money and finances is handled through his lawyer in Montenegro. Now, obviously, I can't say there's anything going on there. I'm just saying that has what has been reported and proven. And obviously, it's since then that Nigel Farage has managed to, personally get £5 million. According to Ben Habib, has been given another £1 million, yet to be be proven, and there is a court case now over the defamation of that accusation. It's been filed anyway. And I think for me, it is, even as a person, if I was to take a step take a step back from this and talk about it, to like almost not be biased, almost to try and be as objective as possible. How do people look at this, look at the network? You've got Sasan Gandhari, who we've just mentioned, who is linked to sanctioned Iranian networks. In the Telegraph article today, for the first time, he did admit that he was working on contracts related to the Iranian government many years ago, and said that his assets were seized by the Iranian government, and there was a power struggle and a fallout, which is very interesting. There is more to that story, and hopefully more of it will be coming out soon. However, we jump over to Christopher Harborn, who, if you look at the history of Tether and the things that Tether has been accused of, just this week we had Christopher Harborn in another investigation where his refueling company, which has got American military contracts and contracts over the world, has been linked to fuel supplies linked to Russia. We previously had another investigation done by The Guardian where Tether has been used by the Russian government to avoid sanctions, and that means the profit that has been made from his fueling company, from Tether, which has gone into his pocket and into Nigel Farage and the Reform Party, has come from profits from places like Russia, but also other organized crime. Things like Tether has been tied to, and just cryptocurrency in general, tied to, everything from human trafficking to literally, buying underage child services online. The entire system, the entire blockchain, the entire crypto industry that all these people are trying to push is incredibly unsafe. And they're trying to buy influence into this. They're trying to create a network of people, of politicians. There is so much money and donations going on around the world to do with cryptocurrency. And that's why we have to quickly mention Bandello as well, who's obviously just donated, just in the last few months, millions more to the Reform Party. He was recently pardoned by Trump for a cryptocurrency money laundering related scheme in America. And now we have Sasan Gandhari, who is admittedly now going to be bankrolling Farage, who are all connected to very dodgy things and dodgy networks, who've all got all these different criminal allegations against them. And the one thing I can say on the Gandharis, because this is public information that you can find on Companies House, the accountant for the Gandharis, his name is Saeed Firdos. He has two different identities on Companies House. One is British with a different date of birth, and the other one is Iranian with a different date of birth. And some of the listings on Companies House of other people that they have worked with tied to the UAE, tied to sanctioned people. Now, I'm not saying that he worked with these people when they were sanctioned, but some of them have since been sanctioned. There are too many dark networks and so much dark money around Reform, from Tether to Bandello to Sasan Gandhari and just many other people. So much of this money, even if you take Christopher Harborn out of the equation, who is obviously responsible for 60 to 70% of Reform's donations since 2024, since they came into power, even if you take that out, almost 70% of all of their money is coming from people who are living abroad. Christopher Harborn is saying that he's now moving to the UK officially. He's just registered to vote. That doesn't mean he can actually donate, by the way. He has to prove that he's living in the UK. Bandello has said that he's now moved his stuff back to the UK just so he can support Farage. And now we've got Sasan Gandhari, who says in the Telegraph article that he's going to be moving stuff to the UK so he can officially get around the cap that was put in by the Labour government of £100,000, just so he can donate to Farage. Why are they all so determined? Why? What do they want? The idea that they don't want anything is obviously just for the birds and ridiculous, and no one believes it. But it genuinely makes me scared. I feel like when it comes to someone like Trump, who's enriched himself, that's just very transactional. I see it. I don't see it as that he just wants to make lots of money. The dark networks that are connected to Reform and their donors, to me, are absolutely frightening. And I think people should pay much closer attention to them, even outside of the Christopher Harborn stories, because there are so many stories around Reform donors that people should find very, very concerning. Kevin.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello there.
So we've got the Sasan story.
Yes.
We've got the Christopher Harborn stories. We've got the Bandello story. Am I just naive in hoping that it's going to cause enough damage to actually really hurt them, as opposed to hurting them just a little bit as it is kind of now?
Before we get into the effects on Nigel Farage, can I just say, firstly, everyone in chat, round of applause. The work that Lewis does in terms of digging through all of this and his actual involvement in the investigative journalism is amazing. But I do have to say, this is how you get car bombed. Did you learn nothing from the? Did you learn nothing from the? What was it called? The tax affairs thing from a few years ago, where the person who outed all that information, their car randomly exploded. Well, who does all care? You know, crazy.
Just to quickly tell you, so when I brought up Nurali Aliyev earlier, excuse me, Nurali Aliyev is the grandson of the president of Kazakhstan. His dad, Rikyat, was a Kazakh ambassador to Austria. He fled the country. Funnily enough, the KGB agent who accused the Gandaharis of doing the home for the president, he was friends with Aliyev, and they fled away from Kazakhstan together because they were pinching money and accused of doing other things. Anyway, long story short, Aliyev's dad, Rikyat, got essentially Epsteined. He was arrested in Malta in like 2014, taken to a prison in Austria, and everybody said, his lawyer said he seemed fine, and then he just mysteriously turns up dead. He was also accused of killing a journalist in Lebanon too, just FYI. Lots of dead people turning up connected to very rich and powerful people.
The Panama Papers, that was the example I was trying to think of. Thank you,
the
Jack.
Panama.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead. With dark money networks, rich people.
Yes. So in terms of Nigel Farage, it's been so clear to me for so very long that he's been up to his neck in all kinds of scheming. Not necessarily anything illegal, because again, we don't wish to be sued. But it's very obvious he's, let's say, incredibly comfortable with some of the shadiest bastards on the planet. Up to and including, of course, being a permanent resident on Donald Trump's penis. He's been taking all kinds of crazy money, whether it be from crypto or from advertising weird gold and silver buying services or whatever, which again, not technically illegal, but a bit shady, a bit ropey. And there's been questions for a long time about the transparency of the funding, firstly of UKIP and then the Brexit Party and now Reform. Because, of course, it's not really a political party, it's a PLC, run and operated by Nigel Farage. Which is interesting because the original sort of sleaze story of the £5 million donation thing hasn't really gone away. And that's why, in a sense, like I really like all the investigative journalism, but I do slightly wonder whether, in the same way that Trump floods the field thing, you know, they just make it so there are a million different stories that no one can focus on. The 5 million was really sticking to Farage, and I think still will, by the way, because of course in private he's been telling people that he's really worried that he's going to be found guilty by the Privileges Committee and have to stand down, which would be effectively the end of his political career, because he's not young enough to really start again as such. So that would be interesting to see where Reform go from there. But with all of this dark money backing, even a new leader might be able to do something with the Reform Party, because those are the kind of millionaire backers that can really get a party rolling. I mean, literally, the Restore Party is just Rupert Lowe. But because he's backed by the richest person that's ever lived, that gets you somewhere, unfortunately, because we live in capitalism. Again, it always goes back to that leftist.jpg. Now, in terms of Nigel Farage, it's clearly that all of this sleaze stuff, all of this dark money, whether it be from the Iranian, Kazakh, British nationalist, which is an interesting phrase, or any other, British nationalist based in the Far East or whatever, it's clearly had an impact on his numbers. It's clearly the Reform Party actually coming under any amount of scrutiny for the first time ever. Like, obviously yourself and, good investigative journalism has been sort of on the trail of Farage for 25 years. As soon as as long as he's been in mainstream political public life. But unfortunately, it's taken the mainstream media up until now, basically, to start doing any reporting on this. Otherwise, they could have taken him down years ago, because he's obviously been involved in all kinds of shady shit for years and years and years. And it'd be interesting to see, if he does have to step down, who would step into his place. And I think, actually, he probably will in the end, because whether it's the 5 million from... I forgot his fucking name already. Or whether it's an Iranian, Kazakh, British nationalist. There's so much dark, shady shit that they're going to cop him on something. Because Farage has essentially become complacent, I think, in that for so many years, for literally decades, he's been able to get away with this shit without any real public scrutiny of his finances, of the way in which he does his thing. There's obviously been scrutiny of his political messaging, And it's mainly been liberals tutting about him saying racist things, which is fine, you can do that. But if that's all you do, you're going to be ineffective, and that's why they've been ineffective. But now they're actually starting to really look into the finances of him and his political parties and his cronies. And it's so reminiscent of the way in which the worst people in American society coagulated around the Trump movement. All of these naked, obvious grifters and self-interested, money-grubbing bastards, some of which you mentioned in your actual in your explaining of this story, who literally not only gravitated towards Trump because they knew he would create a culture that would allow that kind of corruption, but if they ever did get caught, he would just pardon them. That's not something that's in the gift of anyone in the UK except the King, and the King hasn't pardoned anyone for like 160 years or something ridiculous. So that's not going to happen in this individual case. And it could end up that Nigel Farage does end up in prison at some point, if he lives long enough to see any kind of conviction of it. Because he is so obviously and nakedly, again, allegedly, been involved with some really dodgy characters, and it's just a matter of the legal people putting the two and two together and making the case. I think it's a matter of time.
I think what frustrates me the most is because I've been like deep diving probably like just under a year now into this and just other things. A big thing for me was the Epstein files. There's still so many stories that could come out of the Epstein files, which is just there. They're almost like ready to go. You just need to have the will to kind of like put everything together. Like, no offense to me, but it shouldn't be me who is the first person to like put out the story about like Steve Bannon and Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage. Obviously, Navarra put it out, Byline put it out pretty quickly, but that was pretty much it. Nobody else really reported on it.
Well, exactly, because, look, as I point out, that's why I say to people should give you a round of applause, not just to blow smoke up your ass, but because it's true. Small independent outlets like yourselves and Byline Times and the Canary, who've just been debanked, by the way. Again, surprising the right weren't up in arms about that debanking. Crazy, I know. These are the kind of organisations who have been putting stuff out, whereas your average sort of mainstream paper is owned and controlled by the same class who are actually part of the Epstein class. So they're not going to report on that because that would be essentially self-incrimination.
I think what frustrates me the most, what I've learned over the last year when it comes to, because, you know, we've discussed it on the show so many times, there's stuff that I'm happy to put out there myself. The Epstein ones are easy, it's just there. But there is stuff that I know that is trying to get published or people won't publish for lots of different reasons. And it frustrates me. And the one thing that I found is that lots of journalists want to be essentially spoon-fed. Yeah. I won't say any names, but I mapped out basically this entire network between a bunch of people, which was very dodgy, and it linked to even more dodgy people. And there's definitely something going on there. I just don't have the skills and expertise to actually understand what it is. But the fact that the network even exists and these people are connected is damning in itself. I handed this to a mainstream outlet, and they just went, oh, there probably is something there, but if you can't prove criminality straight away, we might not be able to sell the story to people. And I'm like, that's your fucking job. I'm essentially handing you like this entire network that I literally spent weeks building. And the fact that these connections even exist on paper is damning. And because it wasn't spoon-fed to them, they wanted the actual full story because they are doing something, they are up to something. They didn't really basically want anything to do with it. I'm aware of at least 3 or 4 stories which could be very damning to a lot of people right now, that if they were to come out, and they are proven, it would be very damning for them, but for lots of reasons they're not coming out. There is another one this week that I found out about because I figured it out myself, and I'm very annoyed when I spoke to somebody that I know who said that they decided not to publish the story for the reasons that they gave. And it frustrates me so much, and it is the reason to support independent media as well, because I know that people wouldn't hesitate to put these stories out. But I've learned so much about the media over the last year, which I didn't already know. And it just makes me think, what the fuck else is out there that I've never even looked at, that they've just decided not to pursue or publish because maybe it's a good story, but it's not something that's going to get them lots of clicks or lots of attention or lots of money.
Well, exactly. I don't think it's even just about the clicks. I think there are power structures in place to keep those kinds of stories away from the headlines. It's why, you know, the Epstein stories have come out, and who's gone to jail for that? Not many people. Many of them are still in office. Many of them are presidents of the United States or living in a castle at the taxpayer's expense. because the stories are just killed by powers that be. The reasons they give you are probably not really the actual reasons. There are probably lots of very good journalists who would like to publish that, who know that either their editor would sack them, or, again, they would have to check under their car before turning it on in the morning. You can only go so far in pissing off the very, very powerful before unfortunate events tend to happen to you.
Well, if someone's trying to kill me right now, the one thing that they'll be saying somewhere outside my apartment is like, this guy never fucking comes outside. But yeah, no, it's terribly frustrating. Obviously, I do want to say there is some amazing journalism out there in the mainstream. There are some good eggs and some very good stories that a lot of effort has gone into. But I do find it frustrating, and it just shows how much people need to really support. And I'm not even going to like plug Turn Left. I'm talking about like other media outlets. I would recommend people to support Byline Times. I'd recommend that people make sure that they obviously already support people like Navarra, which they already do. But make sure you go after the investigative stuff as well. Open Democracy is great. Declassified is fantastic. Even like less popular outlets like the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, they do some insane in-depth stuff.
Well, I would say to support Turn Left, especially support Lewis Aaron, who will happily go and doorstep future prime ministers about their support for the Israeli government, you know?
But we'll see what else I'll find, and hopefully some more stuff will come out. I did find an exclusive story this week, which I do think will be coming out in mainstream, and all I can say is I don't do stories on billionaires that are like this because I don't have money or resources and I don't want to get sued. And hopefully the story will come out, but we will see. But in the meantime, we'll go on to the next story. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Now, there is obviously an election coming up soon in Greater Manchester, but before we move on, it's 2026 and we really want this year to be a big year for Turn Left. We want to be more ambitious, and you know, last year we did amazing. Our numbers grew, our support grew, and we always love seeing our regulars here. But obviously, we want to get bigger, get put on the map a lot more, and have a bigger and better reach with better shows. And who knows what more content will be coming out in the future with your support. But we would like it to be a very big and ambitious year. Your support over the years has obviously been amazing, and we're hopefully going to be taking it to the next level. But we rely on small donations. So if you want to be a part of a media organization that seeks to destroy the oligarchs like I'm trying to do, then please head over to turnleftmedia.co.uk/support, and there you can support us with a monthly payment on Patreon, or there is a link for a one-time contribution. And obviously you can also become a YouTube member for 99p. More importantly as well, make sure at a minimum you're just liking, commenting on the video, sharing it. You know, just if you need to leave the show because you're going out, just leave it on in the background so it just keeps playing. It helps us. But let's go to the last story on the Greater Manchester mayoral election, because the Green Party has a good opportunity in Greater Manchester to, you know, continue making their name bigger and making their points about the things that they support. But it risks wasting it, I think, by pretending the race is something it's not.
You might have heard there's going to be an election here in Greater Manchester on the 30th of July. And it's a straight fight between Reform and me, Geraldine Coggins, your Green candidate. Our city region has changed a lot since I was first elected as a councillor here 8 years ago. People are feeling left behind. The sun is setting on two-party politics, and the old establishment parties are fading away. Labour lost 40% of their voters at the May elections, dropping votes across all 10 boroughs. This has created a dangerous environment for those of us who reject the divisive, hateful politics of Reform. But there is hope. There is a way that we can stop them. Momentum is firmly with the Green Party. We have surged ahead in the polls, and we've shown in Gorton and Denton and across Greater Manchester. We are the ones who can stop Reform on the 30th of July. Vote Green. Let's stop Reform again.
So that is Geraldine Coggins, the Green Party candidate for the Greater Manchester mayoral by-election that's coming up in a few weeks. She's experienced. She's rooted in the area. She's been there for 10, 15 years. She's able to speak to the public on, you know, good topics that we all should be talking about more, like transport and housing and climate and inequality issues. But the Greens have earned the right to obviously be taken more seriously with their successes in places like Gorton and Denton. It proved it. That campaign had energy, optimism, and local credibility. It felt like a positive, you know, insurgency in the area. It was an exceptional win. Now, people voting Green, they're not doing it just to simply punish Labour, but because they could see a different kind of politics closer to home. That's why the current Green versus Reform framing at the moment, I think it feels a bit off. And I've spoken to a few people about this as well. But obviously, we want to know what people are thinking as well in the chat, because we're going to be coming to the comments in just a few minutes. But, it might be useful on a leaflet, but it's not where the race kind of stands. The polling still points to Labour and Reform by a big margin. They are the top two, with the Greens in a respectable but very distant third. Voters are not stupid. If the campaign tells them a story that does not really match reality, it risks sounding like a tactical spin rather than like actual fresh on the ground local politics. The bigger problem is that Andy Burnham changes obviously the entire atmosphere now. Labour is no longer just Keir Starmer's tired machine in Greater Manchester. It now has the upward momentum of Burnham's rise towards Downing Street. A crude anti-Labour squeeze message will not, I don't think, work as well as many voters. They still see Andy Burnham as the region's, political success, and that was seen in the by-election too. Obviously, they had a terrible Reform candidate and a split with the Restore vote, which helped, but ultimately, he's still a very big name there. The Greens should learn from Gorton and Denton, be hopeful, local, practical, and rooted in people's lives. Talk about, cleaner buses, warmer homes, safer streets, lower bills, and power for communities.
Lewis,
But
we've crashed.
We've crashed?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's not you. I'm just gone on. People have been making comments. I've gone onto the YouTube stream, and it's black. But I think we're back.
Are we back? Let's wait for a comment.
We're fine on my end, for what it's worth.
We're back. Okay, carry on. Yeah, we went black for a bit, but you can carry on.
Just a note, that wasn't me. Can somebody in the comments just tell me where we got to?
Does that count? Does that count as blackface?
So Kevin's making jokes in the background that I can hear, and you guys can't.
I don't know where we are. Would you go about 30 seconds, I would say.
You know what? You know what I'll do? What I'll do is let's just briefly summarize the gist that we're getting at, which is that the previous election in Gorton and Denton and the kind of rise of the Greens has been done off of a fair criticism of the mainstream parties in the system, but also there was a massive bit of optimism and realism that Green were, going after certain places with massive momentum, like Gorton and Denton, with good vibes, and they won, even though the polling didn't say that they would win, and it was quite a large margin that they won by. But the difference between Greater Manchester now versus Gorton and Denton is massive. It's huge, the gap. And framing the Green Party as the only one who can beat Reform, that Labour's not even in the game, going for this specific type of approach may have worked before in the past, but the table has changed. The strategy also then needs to change. It seems like they're going for a campaign which should probably be retired right now. It's not relevant to Greater Manchester and a mayoral race. It's a different environment. The tables have turned with Andy coming into power, we think. We still think he's going to be Prime Minister, right? We still actually don't know how the entire thing's actually working, but it does seem like he's going to be the Prime Minister, and Keir is definitely going. But ultimately, the Greens need to start shaping their policy and start shaping their voice and start shaping their tactics a little bit differently, because it doesn't feel like this approach is really going to work in Greater Manchester, especially in the bit of the dip in the polls that the Greens have faced recently. But let's bring in Kevin, because I'm really interested to hear his thoughts on this, because I know he follows this type of politics probably a lot more than I do. And how are you feeling about the vibes of the Green campaign so far from what you've seen? And do you agree with kind of what I'm saying about the approach? It doesn't seem like it kind of fits with a good strategy, really.
Yeah, it's missing the mark completely and utterly. I don't think the candidate is necessarily bad. I don't think they're the most charismatic candidate in the world, but they're fine. And like you say, they're local enough, even though they're, I think, from Northern Ireland, guessing by the accent. But they've been a councillor there, and they're rooted in that community. So that's absolutely fine. They're not a bad candidate, but the actual messaging there is whack as fuck. You've got to bear in mind the very different political reality we live in now, as opposed to the one in Gorton and Denton. During the Gorton and Denton by-election, Sir Keir Starmer, KC, was going nowhere. He was going to be there. There was no actual challenge to him. Andy Burnham had been blocked from standing in that very seat. The fuck Labour message, very strong. That sold on the doorstep massively. because people were pissed off with Labour, both nationally, not necessarily very much locally, but nationally they were very, very annoyed. So sticking two fingers up to Keir Starmer was a perfect message to send to the people of Gorton and Denton, who absolutely wanted to do that. And that win in itself changed the political landscape of Britain. It's a bizarre thing that one election can do that, but it absolutely did, because it showed that not only did Labour have a credible threat from the left, but that that leftist threat could overcome could overthrow Reform in the same way that Plaid Cymru had done in the Caerphilly by-election, where Labour had been wiped out as well. There was a repeated pattern. They had to take the left-wing insurgency in the country much more seriously, which is why, of course, Keir Starmer at that point was holed below the waterline. It was a matter of time. They had to allow Andy Burnham to step in because you couldn't stop him a second time. You give him a difficult seat to win. He wins it very, very comfortably. And now Keir Starmer's going to be gone in 3 weeks, basically. Which will be, that changes the complete sort of sweep of how you can approach this thing. Trying to say that it's a straight green reform fight is obviously bullshit. Not only is it bad just on a moral level to fucking lie to people, and that's what's happening there, like you say, the Green Party are a respectable third place, should be very proud of the progress they've made in that region and indeed across the country, but don't lie to people. People don't like being bullshitted. That's one of the things they don't like about mainstream politics, is that political leaders consistently lie to them about things that they can see with their own eyes. So don't do that. It's insulting. It's condescending, it's infantilising, and people are sick of that. People are sick of dickheads, whether they be from London, from Manchester or any other bloody place, telling them things that they know are untrue. And secondly, you risk falsely splitting the vote. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these people who says, you should just stand aside, because you might let Reform in. I'm sorry, the Green Party are here to stay, Labour. You have to take on that left-wing insurgency seriously and actually offer people a reason to vote for you, rather than just scaremongering about the Conservatives or Reform or Restore or whoever. You have to actually actively give people a reason to vote for you now. That's a thing you could do. And in Manchester, they already have the pre-prepared argument that Andy Burnham has actually given you some reasonable Labour policies. He's governed in a reasonably Labour way in Manchester. Now, whether the person coming after them is going to have the same policies or whatever is a different kettle of fish. But ultimately, that base of support for Labour in that region is both historic and based on the realities of recent policies in the city, in a way that it wasn't, say, here in Birmingham, where we had a Labour council who were wiped out because they'd done a fucking terrible job, as well as, of course, the national political scene. And so you risk falsely splitting that vote and allowing Reform in. And Reform have been terrible everywhere they've had a chance to govern. They've been absolutely abysmal. Not only do they not fundamentally understand what the fuck a local government is even supposed to do, but even when they do understand it, they still can't run it properly and end up going into infighting and people splitting off and forming different factions and leaving the party, or in some cases resigning because they didn't realise that they couldn't keep their council job and still be a councillor. So fucking ignorant of the basics of electoral politics in this country are they. But what you can do is, if you make the positive case that you should vote for the Green Party because we're better than Labour, and you split the vote, you can say, well, look, these are our voters. We didn't steal anyone, we didn't lie, we didn't bullshit to get these people. You didn't win them, we won them. Labour, be better. Whereas what you do is, if you bullshit people and you win votes, A, the people who have been bullshitted are less likely to stick with you in the future, and secondly, the good-natured Labour voters, who are more traditionally progressive and more amenable to the Green Party, will take a look at you and say, we've now got a Reform person in the town hall who's fucking everything up, is making an absolute mockery of the city from what was people were happy with their local government and now they're absolutely disgusted with it, and you did this by fucking lying and splitting the vote. That's gonna count against you both in that region and nationally. So don't do it. Make the positive argument. The way in which Zach Polanski has won a lot of support across the country is not just by saying politics is broken, these parties are shit, but saying let's do hope. Hope is a good thing. Let's make hope normal again. Let's do that. That's the thing you could do here. I think that would be not necessarily a strategy that's going to win you this election, because I don't think the Greens can win this election. I don't think now that Keir Starmer is going / will be gone, You can't win this election now. What you can do is set yourself up for the future, and this is not the way to do that.
Yeah, it seems like if you know you're probably definitely going to lose, I think a better tactic for this would have been trying to sell an idea which isn't for now but for later.
Yeah.
So it's like something else that you want to do in other places, whether it's, I'm not saying this is it, but like say if we wanted to do like, free buses or whatever like that, free transport or something, just throwing it out there. Like, it would have been better to almost like take the opportunity to sell something else now, because the part of the reasons why the Greens were doing so well is because they did seem fresh, but now this no longer seems fresh. This approach doesn't seem fresh, so they need to do two things, which is if they're still going to go for seats like this, hard with a lot of money probably behind it and a lot of people power. Obviously not that much private money because the Greens don't delve in that area, which is a good thing. It feels like it would have been an opportunity to move a conversation forward and use that as a platform instead of trying to almost do the Joe Swinson, I'm going to be the next prime minister, oh fuck, I've lost my seat. It's giving a little bit of that type of energy.
Exactly.
Campaigning.
The old meme of only the Lib Dems can win here, and they come in 6th and lose their deposit. That was a meme, and people still mock them to this day for having done that shit. Don't become that. Don't become that thing, okay? We know a lot of Green people are former Lib Dems or whatever, but like, you've got to kill the liberal inside before you can become effective, please.
Yeah, I was going to also add in, so Coggins is actually, she's from Dublin. She has been in the region, from what I can see, at least since like 2012, 2013. So she is a local in that respect. I am just curious though, and I'm very aware if this was a candidate who was, I don't know, from a non-white country or specifically not Ireland, and they were, we'd be calling out people racists maybe for saying this. But do you think in an era where everyone is pushing this idea of hyper-local politics, and even though she is local and she has served her region in different ways, do you think putting somebody in who is Irish is actually a good thing because people are really pushing on this idea of like really, really local candidates? And even though she is, it's harder to sell when she's got an Irish accent. Nothing against the Irish. My nana's Irish.
No, absolutely. I don't think it's a problem because I don't think anyone who would vote Green would be put off by it. I think it sends a certain kind of statement, although I dare say it wasn't the reason they're doing it, that you stand up for people who are, here and prepared to serve the country in a way that the Reform Party are currently attacking. Is it the mayor of like Wandsworth or somewhere? He's a black guy, formerly a migrant who came to Britain, stood for the Green Party, and is now a mayor somewhere. I forget his name. Apologies. And they're attacking him. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the kind of racism you see in the football, actually, given that there's World Cup. In the, again, Ireland, both Declan Rice and Jack Grealish played for Ireland and then switched to play for England. But because they're white, their loyalty isn't questioned. Whereas you can be a black guy who's only ever played for England and only ever wanted to play for England, but if you were born somewhere else, or your family is from somewhere else, or you have an exotic-sounding name, you will be treated differently. And it's a sort of a similar thing here in that she probably won't receive the kind of vitriolic racism that she would receive if she would been born in Ghana and come to Manchester 12 years ago and become an MP or become a councillor. She's a white person, so she's an acceptable migrant. She's one of the good ones, so she'll probably skate by. And that, to be honest with you, like, no one should face that, so I'm glad she won't face that, but I think it's worth pointing out the hypocrisy of the Reform lot. In that a white person who's an immigrant can do it, and they're probably, you might have a little bit of silliness, but by and large won't be like a racist-led campaign. Whereas you can have Sadiq Khan, a man born and raised in London, who has a racist campaign against him by Zach Goldsmith, because he's a brown man.
They're taking over. No, I still say that Morgan McSweeney, however, is an island psyop for the revenge of the last 800 years. I still think that.
You think he's an IRA sleeper agent?
Yeah, he's here to take down. He was here to take down the UK. Even was it yesterday when he said, "Oh, actually, we weren't ready for government." Was that yesterday? I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, no shit, mate. Yeah, obviously. Yeah,
still bringing the Labour Party down.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just hope we're potentially going to have another by-election at some point.
Mayor of Bristol for being a smart immigrant.
I don't want to say what he
Matt
did,
Goodwin.
but the Lib Dem who recently got arrested. I can't remember the exact charges against him, but that will probably trigger a by-election at some point.
Hang on, a Lib Dem got arrested? I didn't think the Lib Dems were capable of being interesting enough to get arrested.
It was. It's one that I never heard of.
Of course, they're a Lib Dem. Who's ever heard of a Lib Dem?
Cameron Thomas arrested on
Yeah,
suspicion
exactly.
of assault and controlling and coercive behaviour. That was 2 weeks ago.
Lovely.
Obviously, nobody cares, but it's obviously going to trigger a by-election
Yeah.
more than likely at some point. So,
Well,
we'll have
what's his seat looking like, Doug? Because I don't know him. I don't know. I couldn't even tell you where he stands, so I have no idea of the electoral mathematics of who could win that seat. Yeah.
Shall we take a guess? Let's have a look. I don't even know where that is by name.
Cameron suggests Scotland, but that, I mean, David Cameron wasn't
the complete
Scottish.
opposite side of the country. It's I'm gonna get someone will probably tell I'm pronouncing it wrong. Tewkesbury. Tewkesbury.
Yeah.
That's where he's the MP of. And the election, the last one was. This is very entertaining, isn't it? 2020.
Live electoral counts from 4 years ago.
Yeah, so here we go. Lib Dems 42%, Conservatives just under 30 at 29.8, and Reform at 12%.
So Reform will probably take that then.
Yeah, so it'll essentially be a right of the left of the right to the hard right kind of battle. We'll see if Restore.
Honestly, there are so many parts of the country that are so fucking weird. Like, how can you have a Lib Dem Reform marginal? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, who lives in these fucking places? I've never been to anything like it. The Birmingham mind cannot comprehend such places.
I just want to know what it's like around Great Yarmouth. The fact that like he took every ward of the locals.
Yeah.
I think.
I've got a lot of good memories of Great Yarmouth as a holiday destination, but yeah, the electoral politics are absolutely rancid. Yeah, not good.
Anyway, I think at this point we can probably bring the producer in for comments. Hello, producer.
I have to say, I've never been to Great Yarmouth. What is so enticing about the area? I'd love to know.
It's got a beach.
Lots of places have got a beach, though.
Yeah, Birmingham hasn't got a fucking beach, so that's enough for me. Beach is I'm good.
I mean, is Great Yarmouth the closest beach to you then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it has quite disgusting politics, that is, isn't it? No. Really interesting stuff, to be honest. I think I knew that the third story about the Greens was going to invoke the most discussion. But of course, we're going to go through all the stories.
I can't see a face. Who is this pirate speaking to us?
I mean, I try and downplay my Bristolian accent, so you can't do me with that one, can
You're right, lover.
All right, lover. Arr. You are not a pirate. I'm Steve the Pirate. If you've seen Dodgeball, you know what I'm talking about.
Look,
if you haven't seen it, then...
If you haven't, then you don't know the 5 Ds of Dodgeball, and you are poorer for it.
And Cav, what are the 5 Ds of Dodgeball?
Dive, duck, dodge,
no!
dive and duck, something like that.
You fucked it.
I did not.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive and dodge.
You know the name of the actor who plays that character, by the way? Great name.
He plays he's in Men in Black, isn't he? The old guy who plays Men in Black.
Yeah. His name is Rip.
Rip Torn. No,
Rip Torn. Yeah.
No, Rip Torn isn't he the scientist? Rip Thorne's a scientist, no.
What are you talking about?
What are you fucking talking about?
Oh, shut up, all of you dickheads.
This is the most unprofessional beginning of a conversation.
Is this flirting? Like, what's going on here?
This is like when a boy throws a shoe at a girl. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, should we talk about politics?
Yeah.
Everything's political, Curtis.
Even Dodgeball?
Even Dodgeball.
Dodgeball is very political.
Dodgeball has a fantastic anti-capitalist message within it, so yes.
Does it actually? Show me the anti-capitalist message.
Well, because the little home gym place where everything's like, oh, it's cool and laid back and like you don't have to be takes on the Globo Gym, the massive corporate entity, and wins.
Yeah, but how did they take them on? Because they won a competition with loads of money and then bought them out, so it was very capitalist.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting it's
shit
perfect.
Lib. Shit lib. Shit lib.
Look,
the people at the bottom win by being more capitalist. Is this a fucking Dar Man video? Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen those Dark Man videos though? They're so
No.
obviously they're so bad. No, you've not seen them.
No.
Okay. If no one knows what it is, it's this channel, and it's like it's poorly acted, and they're like short videos of like moral videos, which is like, oh, you know, don't discount the person who's got no money because, you know, he'll come back and be the boss of you one day. And it's very much like that. And it's supposed to be like a well-meaning thing, but it's so unbelievably like capitalistic because it's always like the moral of the story is get loads of money and become the boss of that person was mean to you. So it's just so bad.
Flo Snake has spoken.
I do have to just say though, right? I did have to check it. His name he was Rip Torn. I was correct, but I didn't realise his real name was Elmore Ruel Torn Jr. and he's dead.
I'm not surprised, if I'm completely honest, because that film came out like 20 years ago, and he was quite old then.
Yeah,
he played Patches of a Houlihan, didn't he?
He did. He was in 2019, and he was 88 years old, that's old. Yeah.
You talked about two different sports in this live now. This is a very unsafe space for me.
Fair enough. Okay.
I feel like I'm getting exercise.
I feel like people want us to read out their comments now, but it's like, oh well, it's Friday. Why can't we speak about classic comedy? No, fair enough. Flow Snake, we will get to the politics in the comments. I'm going to run through the super chats first. So.
I just clicked that one.
Which one did you click?
Oh, we're doing
sexual attention again.
We're definitely doing
sexual attention. This is hatred.
This is we're leftists. We can't get on, obviously.
I know. True. Okay. Demeter Telfusa, and I'm sorry if I've completely butchered your name, but not gonna lie, that's hard to pronounce. Just became a member. I've not seen you before, so welcome to Turn Left. Thank you so much. LS RH4LE became a Turn Left member, and of course Michael, we're always seeing you in the chat, is gifted a membership. James Holmes gave £2, said there's no moon. That's a Jeremy Beadle looking like. You got to expect it now, aren't you? Every fucking show.
I'm issuing a fatwa against you, James. Just know that, okay?
Oh shit. I hate the fact that I've got a Ricky Gervais laugh because he's so annoying, but
it is Gervais.
Oh, let me tell you how much of an atheist I am. Oh, sorry.
Did you know your laugh is actually transphobic?
I mean, yeah, true. But no, I don't mean to be. Clara Ross with a £10 super chat. Thank you for your really generous donation.
Thank you, Clara.
Clara says they hate representation. It's boringly simple. Their future of the world is the sovereign individual, the coming economic revolution, and how to survive and prosper. The future is their disorder. Now, I'm not sure which story you were referring to. I think it was the second story. Can we decipher that a little bit?
Well, obviously,
there's a lot of theory theory work going on here.
Well, it was, obviously these people do push the idea of like individualism and like oneself while secretly colluding together collectively at the top to do lots of things. Obviously, lots of them are fighting. I spoke to Curtis on the phone earlier about today's show, and like, am I making this word up? I don't know, but like crypto feudalism is kind of like going on a lot in the background.
You need to trademark that.
I haven't Googled that word, so until I do, I'm coining it. But it seems like there are a lot of people in the background, especially in the crypto world. If you actually really zoom out and take a big look at who's messing around everywhere, the fact that Trump has pardoned so many people in the crypto world, and you've got everyone from the UAE, and even going back to the Epstein files, where he was really trying to push crypto around the world, and he was probably, I hate to give him credit, ahead of his time, no longer, or is he? And it feels like they're fighting for like the financial privatized future of decentralization, not because they believe in decentralization. That's just part of the narrative. They want to own it. They want to own the last of the private institutions, which is central banks and control of the financial systems. And I feel like that's a lot what's going on in the background while pushing towards the idea of, individualism and whatever. I'm just rambling. Go ahead, Kev. You'll say something better than me.
Well, I was just going to say, you say that Jeffrey Epstein was ahead of his time, but now he's late.
Or is he?
Oh God, here we go. I mean, like, it's true though, because like it's kind of crazy. Because I said to you on the phone, like, obviously
Your phone friend.
Yeah, we keep in touch. Jealous.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, the sexual crimes, the rapes and stuff is been prominent, and that's important. But mainstream journalists really haven't really done a deep dive on the economic and financialization of Jeffrey Epstein. And there is, what I said to you, Lewis, earlier, there is a global coup happening, and no one talks about it. And I kind of want to use your point to slightly tease something from Turn Left. Now, many of you watching will know that our slogan is called Destroy the Oligarchs. But there's a slight disconnect between our slogan and the content we cover. Of course, we do go after politicians who are puppets for the oligarchs and the corporations. But do we actually talk about the oligarchs that much themselves? I would argue not enough. So I'm not going to say what it is, but there is going to be, maybe the next couple of weeks, couple of months, certain things we'll be doing that leans, I think, far more into destroying the oligarchs. Because there is a real dark global financial coup happening, and it's quite scary.
The show will be sponsored by Meta, and the first guest will be Ian Dunt.
Oh, not that fucking cunt, Ian Cunt, I call him.
Sorry, go ahead, Kev.
I was just going to say, yeah, you're going to get sponsored by the Tony Blair Institute.
Right, I said spoilers, right? I was going to reveal it. You didn't have to ruin it, did you?
Sorry, my bad.
I was going to do a grand opening. Turn Left is sponsored by TBI. And then we get, like, loads of people like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is exactly what we needed. And then we could do really rare hourly interventions from Tony Blair. But, you know, thanks for ruining that for me.
Sorry, I got excited.
Oh, go ahead, Kev, sorry.
No, go on.
Okay, if anybody's watching and you would like to put some money that's not from oligarchs behind a fully fledged documentary into all the crypto empire stuff that Epstein was actually doing in the background that still no journalists have really talked about, send me a message. He was literally I found messages between
honestly
him and
you are going to get killed.
Yeah, I do worry about you a little bit.
I probably am. Well, I'll impart this knowledge. He was literally texting the aide to the president of Mongolia the night that he won the election, and they said, "Oh, thanks for your help." And then he replied saying, "Are we going to talk about crypto now?" Fucking Mongolia. He was everywhere trying to push crypto. He was literally messaging with the Qatari prime minister talking about a Sharia compliant token. He was fucking everywhere. I am not kidding.
Hang on.
By the way,
how would it not?
They have since made a Sharia compliant blockchain, by the way.
Okay, but how would? Hang on. How would it not be Sharia compliant?
I don't know, but ask the Qatari prime minister. It's in the files.
Is the use of pork products in crypto? What?
I think it's to do with maybe fees and interest, maybe.
Oh yeah.
When you do transactions on the blockchain, it's based off of fees and certain things. Yeah. So I'm not sure how it works, but it's probably to do with that.
I mean, this is
Kevin's
the thing,
Googling,
though.
isn't he? Is he Googling?
No, I'm not.
Googling then.
But this is the thing, though. It's impossible to get hold of Lewis because he's either probably sleeping from being up until I don't know 4, 5. Going real deep into some dark shit, and it's really important, but it's also when you don't answer the phone or message me back, I am sometimes thinking has he been killed? And my first thought is, well, if you're killed, then we need to find someone else to take your hosting slots.
I have taken steps, so I hopefully
because I can't step in.
He's
too many shows
always on business. Always on business.
I've taken steps,
business.
So I can't be killed because it would involve killing lots of other people. So lots of journalists who I've found out of the last year are incredibly selfish, and they don't like to share information. They just like to take it.
Exactly.
So what I do is that when I find very interesting things, I share it with as many trusted people as I can. So essentially, they'd have to kill us all. So Kevin, I'll be messaging you tonight.
Well, what's better?
that almost sounds like you're trying to kill him.
Sinister.
I got something on Epstein, and I'm going to send it to Kevin. Whether he reads it or not, the oligarch's going to know that you've received that message. So it's we need to kill him though.
Yeah, Lewis is Legion. Okay, you can kill a man, but you can't kill an idea.
Well, I won't be. I'll be blocking you then, Lewis. I don't want to die.
Pretty much. Every time I come across things, I'm just kind of like, it's just going to get me killed. Let's find out. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, am I your dead man switch? Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll be sending you some more stuff tonight.
Oh, God.
And T for Vegan Boy, new TL studio coming to a dormant volcano near you. Now, okay. What I can say is, no, there's no new TL studio, but there are developments happening, which is really, really cool.
Are you introducing a hot tub element?
No.
Every other podcaster's done something like that, haven't they? Like, come up with something new.
That's for
we're
our
gonna be in
after.
bed. We're going to be outside. Let's do it from a hot tub.
That's for our after show called Turn Left After Dark.
Yeah.
And the cameras are strictly to record, not live stream.
Fair enough.
So, no. So, I don't want to say anything on the live, but we don't have a new studio. We haven't got that much money yet. But there is some cool visual shit happening. Anyway, let's continue with the super chat. Well, all your comments actually. Okay, Flow Snake, staggering. And I know this is nothing to do with the stories, but it came up anyway. Was it Owen or Damo reporting that the only mainstream media standing up for the Canary was GBBs? Now, I can't speak for Owen or Damo. However, I did tweet the other day a clip of Reem Ibrahim on GB News, and I did make the point that GB News were the only ones that talked about it. I'm not saying that you saw my tweet and saw that. Maybe Owen and Damo made the point that GB News were the only ones, but I also made the point that BBC, ITV and Channel 4 did not mention the debanking of the Canary. You literally had GB News speak about it. They released an article and there was a segment with Jacob Rees-Mogg and Reem Ibrahim. Now, of course, their analysis was entirely wrong, but they at least spoke about it. What does that say to both of you? What does that say, not about how great GB News is, but what does it say to the existing legacy media?
Yeah, I'm just checking now. So actually, you're wrong. City AM also covered it, and so did the National in Scotland. So
no, to be fair, I did say BBC.
I'm being kind of sarcastic because it's
no. How
still
dare
not
you?
Big enough.
How dare you? No. But what does it say that the UK's based mainstream broadcast channels? And to be fair, I don't know if ITV, BBC, or Channel 4 have even done an article on it.
Yeah, because they're shit. Cause they're absolutely fucking terrible. They're not journalists. They're a joke.
But why do you think that GB News has picked it up? I have my theory, but obviously I want to hear what you've got to say.
Well, because they're annoyed that Nazis get debanked, so they're against all debanking on a kind of basis of utilitarian calculus on their half.
Have they stopped printing? Do they have the funds for it?
So no, the Canary, the first printing batch was only supposed to be temporary. Then of course the debanking happened, so they are obviously restricted of funds. So they were only going to do a temporary thing, but of course the restriction of funds have meant that also they couldn't carry it on. They will be resuming, but obviously I don't think they're going to be resuming as quick as they wanted to.
All I'll say is, Canary, I will happily write for you for free.
Well, some people have been paid, not the Canary. But I don't know if it's everyone. Now, I really want to quickly comment on the GB News thing, right?
And I'll swear less if you let me write for you.
Yeah, less like disgusting jokes. Actually, they swear in the Canary, I think. Just whack it in there. The thing with GB News is, I know you said that they're only pretending to care about left-wing debanking to push the right-wing debanking. An element of that is probably true. But I actually think there's a different reason. And I think even though GB News acts exactly like the corporate media, they are newer. Therefore, so Turn Left has been on GB News many times, right? Whereas I think we had one invitation from the BBC during the Your Party conference, but it was a very specific thing. It's like, oh, we know you're Your Party. Do you want to come on BBC 5 Live? Obviously, we didn't see that email. Whereas GB News asked us to go on a lot. And I do think there is an element of the BBC look down on YouTubers and smaller independent media. They go, oh, they're not sensible and proper. And they've got their own connections. They've got their list of people they want to contact. Whereas GB News, and this is not me praising them, but I think they do understand partly because they're just newer, that they get new media, that they are willing to reach out to people on YouTube or smaller platforms. So I do wonder that that's part of, as horrifically as right-wing as GB News is, they don't gatekeep as much as someone like the BBC or ITV or Channel 4.
That is true, but I do have to say, the BBC, you say the BBC looks down on YouTubers, but they have Piers Morgan on all the time.
Hey, he is a YouTuber.
Do you think also as well, because depending on what kind of like sphere you're in or what algorithm you're in, there's still people out there who don't even know who the Canary is, just regular people. It may be an outlet.
Yeah, but the BBC know.
The BBC, the BBC know because the founder, Mendoza, I forget her first name now. My former boss, I probably should remember her first name. She was on the BBC. No, she wasn't on there a lot, but she was obviously interviewed on BBC Radio. Like, the BBC categorically know who the Canary are. The Canary have existed for a very, very long time.
The BBC is one of the foremost information gathering sources on Earth. They absolutely know who the Canary are. They've chosen purposefully not to report on this.
Yeah. Because with the BBC as well, I wouldn't say wider, as we all know, thanks to Paul Holden, the Canary were literally targeted by Morgan McSweeney. Yeah. And they said, we will destroy the Canary or the Canary will destroy us. Now, I'm not saying there's a link between the debanking, but the Canary are extremely well known. I mean, they are considered... I don't know if they're as big as Navarra now, but before Navarra really got traction, they were considered the biggest left-wing organisation. So they are absolutely known. The fact that the BBC won't talk about them is 100% just the editorial deciding not to, because of course they will talk about Nigel Farage. And the funny thing is, like, Nigel Farage wasn't even debanked.
No, exactly. He just couldn't have his fancy account with the posh bank.
Which is so funny, because like he's got all this millions and stuff, but if only Christopher Harborn came a bit earlier, he'd have kept his Coots account. But now he can't. Having said that, if Nigel Farage was genuinely debanked, like, I would not support it. Like, I am not against GB News being pulled off air because they keep breaking Ofcom rules and they just push like lies and misinformation slop. I would not bat an eyelid, but I would never ever in the world ever support debanking, because the way in which like the staff at the Canary don't get paid, and they're all working, well, most of them working class, can't pay for their rent and bills. There will be people at GB News who will just, the audio engineers or the graphic designers, they don't have anything to do with the editorial. Like, they won't get paid either. So, like, I am really against debanking across the board. But, like, if they had to be pulled off air, I'd be like, yeah, fuck them. I mean, most of their views come online anyway.
Not that I want to create more bureaucracy, but they're obviously within the rules of this. Obviously, the rules exist for a reason, but they obviously need to exist with obviously some more nuance. When you've got there's different things that are sensitive, right? A media outlet, I hate to praise America in any way, but obviously media has a lot more protection, even though it's actually ranked worse in America under the First Amendment in terms of its importance. But we don't have actually a lot of the same protections over here. That if a bank actually wanted to just say no to an outlet, they could just do that if they wanted. They could just debank them. The issues that we have around that, as well as what you're saying too, when it comes to an entire company, the fact that somebody can be debanked through some sort of process, whatever it might be, and then their entire funds get cut off, hundreds of people, maybe thousands could be waiting for pay. It does seem like whatever this process is and the reasons why they've created it in this way perhaps needs to change a little bit. It's different with an individual, but an entire organization is just wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Adam Law says, I take it you haven't been asked on GB News after the cuck rant. I have. I get asked all the time, but most of the time it's like, do you want to talk about this refugee that did this, that? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking talk about that. Like, first of all, there are people who can talk about immigration better than me and refugee stuff. Like, I fully get that. And I prefer to talk about like economics, but like there are certain stories where I can look at and it's like, I'm not going to talk about it. And 90% of the messages I get are like, this refugee did this. No, I'm like, no, I'm not coming on.
Who was it who recently invited me on Talk TV? I sent you the message because I was like, do you want to go on?
It was Samara Gill, and It was a story because I wanted to do it actually. Andy Twelves did it instead, but I can't remember what it was like now.
Lads, all I'm saying,
Samuel Lee's the landlord thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think that was what it was.
Look,
I'm not going on for that topic.
I'm not officially
Brilliant.
like a part of Turn Left, but if you ever need someone to just go on and rant, I can do that for you.
Would you?
Yeah,
because
100%.
Okay, because I sometimes when I can't make it, they're like, you got anyone to recommend?
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to fucking London to do it, but if I can do it on a webcam, yeah, rant.
I think most of the time these days they're doing it like down the line, because I think we've all now agreed that G-Minis are legitimate and there's no boycotting anymore. Like, I was really angry when Gloria Di Piera, the former Labour MP, and like back in 2020 when like the studio was falling apart, it wasn't legitimate, and I was so angry that Labour MPs went on that, because there's a weight of authority with an MP. So by going on there, they literally legitimised them. Yeah. But fast forward 6 years, I'm sorry, they are legitimised. So yeah, Kevin, if you're interested in going, I'll definitely pass.
I'm just not. The problem is like I've been invited onto a few different things, but it's always the topics which I fucking hate. Like, I would rather
most of the time there will be though.
Yeah. Like, it could be like one topic could be something to do with like Israel, which I would happily talk about because I've got so much knowledge on that and things that I want to say that don't get said. Then the next will be, oh, is Meghan a cunt? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about Meghan. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to research on Meghan just to go on so I can talk about another topic that I care about. So no.
Well, I mean, that's what you'd be better suited not doing a studio show where you're there for an hour and you talk about multiple topics, to do like a 10-minute Zoom where it's one topic. But I've noticed, like, for a while, G-Minis were asking about Israel Palestine. They never ask about that now. Let's talk about comments about the actual stories there. I think
we not got to those yet.
Well, because what they want is like viral moments, and so like the fact that the quote unquote
Adam Brooks called someone a lefty twat, right?
Yeah.
And that was a viral moment, and I'm thinking, well, everything that Adam Brooks says is worse than shit. Like, he genuinely is such a stupid fuck. It's embarrassing. And you see him on Twitter, he's such a boomer. The way he tweets, it's really embarrassing. But
I have had the pleasure of saying to Alex Armstrong, like, who's paying you to put out your propaganda? I've had 2 debates with him, but they were...
He's got worse. He's got so much worse.
He's going way more extreme. He's trying to be more Patrick Christie. I think he's trying to like because Patrick is probably seen as probably one of the most extreme on the show. I think
Patrick Christie is genuinely a racist.
Patrick Christie? What?
Christie, but Patrick Christie is actually like disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he would sign up. Well, I'm not even going to say it. I'll get fucking sick.
He probably would be. I guarantee he's fucking giving money to Restore. Like, he's a Restore guy. He probably thinks Reform is like left wing.
He probably saw the Daily Mail headline of all the Nazis in it and was like, fucking good.
Citation in Minecraft. Okay, so Michael says in regards to Russia, the intelligence services saying that Russia could attack Poland. This is really good for Michael. Can't we just ask the Russians? Russia's great asset, Peter Mandelson. And Peter Mandelson probably would fucking know.
You can hire him as a national security advisor. You're an expert on Russia, right?
Look, it shouldn't be surprising. Like, we know that he stayed on the board of that Russian company with ties to the Kremlin after the invasion of Ukraine. So we should be... it's not surprising in the slightest that he would be a Russian asset. Of course he would. Yeah.
I'm just going to run to the toilet.
Who is it nowadays?
I'm going to quickly run to the toilet, but I want to put up this comment because this is really interesting. Actual Intrepid says, I think it's bollocks. Intelligence services are paranoid, and follows up with, it's just deployed to force countries to up their contributions to NATO. I'm going to run to the toilet, but I really want you to discuss this.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're still watching as well.
I would agree with the possibility of that, but the intelligence first actually came from the Baltic states. Then the US backed it up essentially. So the intelligence did come from, I think it was Latvia and.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't take much for an American agent to put that information into the hands of a Latvian or whatever. Like I don't want to be too conspiratorial about it, but it's so obvious that the powers that be at NATO are scared, and so they need to reinforce the reason why NATO exists.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm just thinking about, don't worry, NATO will be fine. Keir Starmer wants to run it after he leaves the office.
Oh, God. Do you know what? You've done such a good job at killing the Labour Party, Keir. Please become the Secretary-General of NATO. Please. Angel of Death Starmer, please.
Take McSweeney with you.
Exactly.
And Reeves.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, love her.
Sorry, but if people didn't know, Keir Starmer has said that he would like to be the Secretary General of NATO in the future. He'd love that job. I'm sure he'd do a fantastic one.
Just when you thought Mark Rutte was the most briefcase cunt that would ever hold that position, up steps Sir Keir. Let's go.
Because I end up consuming a lot of intelligence and a lot of intelligence reports, it's easier to sometimes pick out which are the ones which seem more authentic and less propagandary. Like, for example, Netanyahu saying, "Oh, they did actually have nuclear weapons." Not true, but yeah, there's certain reports that when they come out, you can see which ones have at least some more truth in them than the others.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if this increased the GDP like it did last year for the US, that was a massive increase in GDP because of weapons sales. They'll happily take it, obviously.
Yeah, of course it will. Yeah, absolutely. All of the people who make money out of, or indeed political clout out of NATO remaining the military force on the continent, are exactly the kind of people who would make some shit like this up, or put information into the hands of, grateful Latvian diplomats. Of course, yeah.
Are you back?
Sorry. Yeah, I obviously
Did you wash your hands?
Comment. Yeah, of course. I didn't hear your comments, but
what a fucking producer, Jesus.
But I do think, do they really need to force countries to up their contributions? A lot of countries seem to be willingly we'll up our contributions. Which state has ever been squeamish about spending more on military? That seems to be the consensus. I mean, it's happening now in our country, which is let's cut welfare to boost spending on when it comes to, I think 2.5% we're asking for GDP. On NATO. It might even be more. I mean, in fact, this is so funny. Al Cairns, who obviously has no chance of ever being a leader,
my MP, let's go.
He's your MP as well. Was 2.5%, 3.5%. That ain't the floor. Oh, sorry, that's not the ceiling. That's the floor. I'm like, this is crazy. So I don't know if there needs to be an invention to get people to support imperialism, because we naturally sort of gravitate towards that.
The fact that he's in the Labour Party just shows how right wing they've become. Ridiculous.
Well,
I don't even know much about him, though.
is also not happy about the increased spending. Do you want to guess who my MP is? Where I am now.
You're Rachel Reeves, aren't you?
Oh, the guy who lives in Leeds is obviously going to know. Yes, Rachel Reeves. I'm blessed.
Well, no, because I'm Alex. Is it Alex Sober? Alex.
Wait, are you not Hillary Benn?
I thought I was Hillary Benn, but what are you, Leeds Central?
I used to be Hillary Benn when I lived not too far away from where you are.
No, I double checked it. I'm not actually Hillary Benn. I thought it was Hillary Benn.
No, you're Curtis Daly.
Oh, I get confused sometimes.
Sorry, I just turned schizophrenic for a second there. Jesus.
Fucking rude. Okay.
Put this up. I did apparently your hitman's here. Kevin Logan Hitman. Lewis always checking your bike.
They've legit fucking done an account called... Is that... Yes, that's Hitman from the games.
They just created that account just for this.
Jesus Christ.
Do you not realise we have a Curtis Daly pen? There is something else. What is it? Ben... No, is it Len McLean? We literally have the most fucked up viewers. Well, they will make up accounts just to leave a comment. And do you know what? I'm here for it. Because
I've been, honestly, people will actively search out weird account names on Twitch to donate for me. So I've had Idi Amin become a member on the Twitch, and
You've had who?
Idi Amin.
Idi Amin.
The former vastly murderous dictator of Uganda.
Right, has your face been superimposed and photoshopped?
Someone's probably driving around Rachel Reeves' constituency now, looking for me. I mean, I'm in.
I love my country. I love my country.
Did I say I was in Rachel Reeves' constituency? I meant Richard Bergen in East Leeds, not West Leeds.
Well, no, I live in Al Khan's constituency. Come find me, you cunt. Come on.
Give me that fucking GDP.
Let's go.
To be fair, they legit could be far right right-wing people like watching the stream trying to find a wheel. Like actually, when I was making videos for the Canary a few years ago, I made a few videos on my
Canary friend.
Oh my fucking god! Just because you got no friends, all right?
Yeah,
No,
true.
You got friends. You got friends. I made videos on my balcony, and I was told by the editors like, you need to refilm that inside. I was like, why? I was like, there will be people like you're Brown and also talking about anti-fascism and speaking about the far right. They will fucking find you. And I was like, that's great. And this is like kind of like the early years of doing political content. I was like, well, that's fucking lovely. So I had to like could not show anything on film like where it possibly could be. But of course, though, Nigel Farage is the most threatened politician, and it's the right wing who are in danger.
He's such a cry-bully piece of shit. The amount of violence he wants to enact on other people is outstanding, and like 2 MPs have been murdered.
That's so disgusting. The way in which he acts like he's the most persecuted MP, and all he's had is a couple of fucking milkshakes.
Well, exactly. It's like Trump. Like Trump goes, "Oh, I'm the most attacked American president."
I mean, technically, he has been.
No,
assassination attempts.
Well, 4 of them.
There could have just been one, but
yeah, four American presidents have been assassinated. Like, I know it's bad luck that he wasn't a 5th, but still.
I mean, like, do you think all of them are fake, or like,
I think some of them are a fake. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe all. Probably the first one.
It's difficult to know. It's difficult to know.
It's hard to know with someone like Trump as well. Like, he legit would do that.
Yeah, of course he would. Yeah.
And no one buys the ballroom thing.
We're going to try something with Farage, because do you remember when he was doing that whole thing, like they're reducing my security, they're trying to kill me thing, and they were like really pushing it, and I was like, this would be the perfect time for a false flag.
Well, do you know what? He keeps on saying to the mainstream media, I try and speak to the state to give me more protections or any protection, they refuse me. I researched this, by the way, completely unsubstantiated. There is no evidence whatsoever that the state doesn't give him protection. Now, what I think is that he's asking for extra protection, because he's like, well, I'm a prominent MP, and which, fair enough, he is a more prominent MP than many others. So I think there's grounds for him to ask for more money. I don't actually oppose that. But I think they're turning around and saying, but technically you are not a minister, you're not part of the government, you're not a deputy prime minister or a prime minister, you're going to get the same amount of money as a standard MP, right? Yeah. Now, you may disagree or agree with that. However, he will turn around and say, that is the state basically saying they won't protect me. It's like, no, it's not that. Like, you're going to get the same amount of money as Zara Sultana. Okay, because Zara Sultana holds no power apart from an MP. And again, like, you might say maybe Farage and other people who might not have ministerial positions or work in government but are more famous, maybe they need more money. Fine, have that discussion, change the rules. But he is acting like the state don't support him, and that's why he needs £5 million from Christopher Harbin. It's rubbish, and I researched it. There is no evidence to suggest that.
Yeah, he's full of shit, yeah.
Well,
he's full of shit.
Where the money's probably gone is the interesting time. Well, it's not even like interesting, it's just a consolidation. But the Times article that came out like yesterday, I think, they basically went over like a full review of all of his properties. So it was 5 in total between him and his partner. 1 wasn't paid for in cash because it was through a divorce. The second one in 2020 was 500 grand, but they don't say that one is paid in cash. So that one must have been a mortgage. And then the other 3 paid for in cash. One of them's getting over £1 million worth of renovations because they're tearing it down and then redoing it. And then the £1.4 million one that Sky News revealed, that was 2023 or 2024, is also getting an extra £350,000 of renovations, all bought for in cash. So we can guess where some of the money's gone. The problem is that when he said that he used some of the money from Thorn in the Side Media, his company, bit of a problem when the accounts keep going up every single year, Farage, and they don't go down. We're going to know where the money's coming from. I wonder.
I appreciate that it is
convicted of money laundering.
I appreciate it is 9:15.
Don't see me.
I appreciate it's 9:15, but we haven't spoke about the Greens, so we need to quickly go through those comments.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. But to start off, Michael says, update for Kevin and Curtis. BBC reporting England versus Mexico has been moved to 7 p.m. Sunday because of weather issues. Now, BST, What's BST? Is that this
British
is our,
British?
this is our timeline, right?
No,
Ti-
it's
time.
no, it's British summertime.
It's British Standard Time, isn't
It's
it?
British summertime.
So that means we get to enjoy England at 7 p.m. This is
Yes.
the best news I've
Well,
ever
no,
heard
it's
in my life.
well, I believe it's 6 p.m., isn't it?
Why?
Because for some reason I don't know why, but the hours that they're telling us, it's always an hour in front, and I don't know why they do it that way. I presume they give the GMT.
Well, you were
time.
saying in America when the games are on, they're always giving it an hour earlier.
Yeah, because they give us the what do you call it, Greenwich Mean Time hour, and we're an hour ahead, so it's always an hour.
Are we?
Yeah.
We're an hour ahead of Greenwich time.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
How?
Well, because Greenwich Mean Time is fixed based on what time it is officially in Greenwich, but the
I
hours.
see, but when it comes to
Yeah.
hours forward and backwards,
Yeah.
they don't fix for that.
Yeah.
So
Time
what?
is but a concept.
So half the year we're an hour ahead of GMT.
So what you're saying is it could actually be 6 p.m.
I think it will be at 6 p.m. Yeah.
But is this not incredible news? Oh, so good.
Well, it is good, but it means because it's apparently there are going to be thunderstorms at the time, and
It's 6 p.m. local time on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
So
Well, it's better than 3
So
a.m.
not only are they playing halfway up a mountain, but it's going to be scorching hot as well. Brilliant, awesome, cool.
Well, yeah. Anyway, that's we got a Twitch comment. So about the Greens, obviously there has been issues with the campaign. Well, from our perspective, that the Greens have put, and I know it's early days, but it's like, oh, it's Greens versus Reform. That's it. We're doing the tactical vote thing. I think a lot of Green Party supporters, and to be honest, like I'm not a member, but I would consider myself a Green Party supporter. Like, and I'm not stupid that Andy Burnham has wooed me back to Labour. It's never fucking happening. And to be honest, you could probably get a Jeremy Corbyn figure become Labour leader, and I don't know if I could ever vote Labour again because of the genocide. Like, that is something that's a red line for me. Okay, but they're doing the Labour thing, which is a two-party race. Now, Catbreen says, I don't like the Greens are reverting to the two-party messaging. And that's quite interesting, because at the top of the video, the mayoral candidate, Coggins, says that this isn't a two-party system. True. But then sort of goes to, but you need to vote for us to stop reform, which is very much two-party politics. So I agree with you, Kat, that I don't like this kind of messaging, which is like, we need to understand we're in a five-party system. However, let's pretend it's like first past the post, but we're just the bigger players. That doesn't serve the Green Party well.
What is the electoral system for Greater Manchester? Wasn't there a recent change?
It's a weird change. It's like SV or something like that. I don't even understand it, right? But it's not particularly democratic. It's not PR.
No.
Okay. The BBC says a supplementary vote. The change. This is not even written correctly. BBC, come on, what are we paying you for? The change see a switch. It's literally what it says. From first past the post. This is used in general elections to the supplementary vote system. Under SV, voters have a first and second choice, and if no candidate wins more than 50% of the vote after the first preference votes are counted, the top two candidates will go to a runoff. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't.
Can they just not fight to the death, please?
Yeah, exactly. Just go old Roman style with it. Build a Colosseum. Give them a knife. Give them a sword and a shield.
Trial by combat, you know.
Exactly. Whoever wins gets to rule Manchester for 4 years.
Who's the Reform candidate? I think they're like a big time landlord. They keep picking really bad candidates, and it's so funny.
Well, it's almost like they've only got bad members.
Sean
True.
Ashley?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, that's it. Yeah. Don't know anything about the Labour candidate. Have they even announced the Labour candidate?
Yeah, it's
Jeff Craig, leader of the Manchester City Council.
Sir Steer Carver is standing.
No, don't worry. He's gonna go for some international job. Like, I legit think he would love to be some sort of ICC prosecutor.
Galloway
would need to prosecute himself. Is Galloway running? Galloway, he's such a fucking opportunist, man.
Is he actually confirmed? 1 second.
He can't be. He's everywhere. He's
He's
everywhere.
running.
Fuck
He's
yes.
such an opportunist. The thing is, in the last 3 years, even though I had my criticisms of George Galloway like 3 years ago, the last 3 years have proven that I have absolutely like zero respect for him. Because at least, like I say, he's a great orator. He's great on Israel-Palestine. But now it's like, well, 3 years later, he's trash on everything else, and there is no legitimate position to be good. There's no legitimate position apart from being good on Israel-Palestine. Like, you can't not be good on Israel-Palestine because it's a fucking genocide.
Well, I'm glad he's running, because what we need is a fifth transphobic candidate.
And to be fair, there is no constituency. I might be wrong, but there's no constituency of like Workers' Party, Green Party crossover. There just isn't.
Not really.
So
No.
I mean, there's no votes he can pull away from. There's no party, is there? So
Well, no, but he's not trying to win, really. He's just in essence, it's the monster raving loony party doing it for the advertisement.
Yeah,
but
true.
with like a veneer of sensible politics to it, which
The thing is, if people are actually smart, like the people who love doing foreign interference, if they would have actually waited for the right moment, Galloway would have been a very powerful person, a very not powerful person, but like a good person to back if they want somebody who's actually a very good orator.
A throbbing opportunist.
I've been playing that on my. I've got that on my sound deck.
He's funny. I'll be the cat. Still, I'll never get over the Big Brother shit, though. You know?
No, well, it's still the greatest sentence ever from that throbbing to me, because I was in a gay bar in Red Square.
I was in a gay bar and
within earshot of Lenin's tomb. With YMCA throbbing out.
YMCA, a throbbing opportunist. Fuck.
Amazing.
The guy is just nuts. Okay, so where'd I get to? What'd I get to? Ollie Carpenter says, I wish her luck, but I feel Manchester needs a big personality, perhaps someone young and hungry. Again, I don't really know much about Coggins. Now, to be fair, Ben, to us, has been saying she's really impressive. I need to look into her more. But in Gorton Denton, you had the whole working class plumber thing. At the moment, there's really nothing. And also, like...
She's a PhD philosopher.
Right, I mean, who gives a fuck about philosophy? No one. Now... Sorry.
Says the Marxist. Okay.
Yeah. Excuse me, I would consider him a philosopher. He's a scientist. No, I'm joking. No. I've had that entire fucking like argument on Twitter that like economics is not science or law. Or I've had a bunch of ANCAP saying no, supply and demand is literally law. Fuck off. But there is no flair, I don't think, right now, that particular candidate. And I also must say, right, whilst I think they're on 13%, which is really respectable for the Greens.
Yeah.
But during the Gorton Denton campaign, like, the Greens were already in the 20%, right? Unless I'm wrong, I don't remember seeing them being very low in vote share, and then they sort of, really made massive gains. All the polls showed Reform, Tories, and the Greens were in the margin of error or within 5%. So, like, Hannah Spencer didn't have a mountain to climb. She already had that support. Whereas here, like, the Greens need to get, like, 20% higher than what they're polling, which I feel like that shit only happens in America, right? Zora Mamdani on 1% as NYC mayor, he wins. Bernie Sanders on 1%, he nearly beats Hillary Clinton. That sort of shit happens in America, partly because their elections are so fucking long as well. They're like 6 months long. They've got time to do it. But there seems to be a phenomenon in America where people rise quickly. That doesn't really happen that much in British politics, I don't think. I can't see someone starting on 13% to then win 30 to 35% to become mayor. Maybe I'm pessimistic. I don't know.
What is this going around? Apparently, Zach Polanski was given 3.5 million quid by Bill Gates. I wasn't even getting my phone out to talk about that, but
I mean,
apparently that's
obviously
something going around. Is that new?
Well, I've not heard of that, but that sounds like bullshit.
Yeah. Why would fucking Epstein's mate be giving Zach Polanski money?
I know this guy from TikTok Web Mutuals. He does troll videos. Like, he always makes his videos seem like he's actually right.
Oh, it's trolling.
I don't know if, like, I think the person who's posted it is the person from GB News who was complaining. Yeah, that's the woman who who's posted it. That's the one from GB News who got lots of complaints for calling about when they were talking about the recent case with the baby.
Oh,
that looks like her.
Well, I
So
typed
what
in
this
Zach
is-
Polanski, Bill Gates, and the first thing that comes up is
so
in quotes.
confused. I was-
did nothing illicit. Bill Gates admits affairs, apologizes.
So what this is then is a GB News anchor or whatever being too much of a thick cunt and falling for some trolling online and thinking it was real.
No way. They don't do that.
No. Well, there you
But
go.
the reason why I picked up my phone anyway, not just to ignore everyone and casually browse, is because apparently Andy
Sorry, I'm
Burnham,
watching the football, so it's fine. Go for it.
apparently Andy Burnham has confirmed on Reddit, of all things, that he's not calling a general election.
Okay.
What a surprise. He's miles behind in the polls. Why would he?
He's not miles behind the polls. Polls showing that actually he's ahead. Well,
Well,
polls
there
got him ahead.
have been
he's
outliers.
definitely not no, he's not miles behind.
No, the poll of polls still has Labour at several points behind Reform.
Yeah, but you can't. You can like you have to wait until the Burnham effect happens, right? You can't. That will be Keir Starmer's leadership of the last 2 years. I wouldn't say they're drastically behind because I think one, obviously, the Burnham effect. He is more popular,
And they've got no
for some reason.
And they've got no money to fight a general election anyway.
Who?
Labour Party. They've got no members. They've got no fans. The stadium's shit. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's a really interesting point, right? Because Keir Starmer like really courted the corporations. He got John Caldwell, the founder of Phones for You, a massive billionaire, right? He got Sainsbury's guy.
Mr. Sainsbury's. Yeah.
Let's just say it, Mr. Sainsbury's. He got a bunch of like corporate donors.
Yeah.
And then like now everyone's like, oh, it's going to move to the left under Andy Burnham tax rises. I don't think they're going to get the same corporate donors, but they don't have the membership. Like, whereas Jeremy Corbyn was like, I don't need your fucking dirty money because I've got 600,000 strong people to give me money. And then they cleared their debts and they were financially fine.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of money-wise, they have fuck all. But to be honest, though, and I think we're quite lucky still, just about, we're not like America, in which in America, money buys elections. I don't think that's complete here. Like Reform, if money bought elections complete in this country, Reform would be winning everywhere. They keep fucking losing. Local elections, granted, they're winning, but the last 3 by-elections, they keep losing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Just because we don't like misinformation on this channel, apparently LBC have said the match might be at 7, but by the way, it's actually not confirmed that it's moving. They're just saying it's an ongoing.
Okay.
So
I love how you're like, oh, we don't want to push out misinformation. I thought, oh, something really specific and important. You talk about the England game. One can dream. One can dream. £2 super chat, Kevin. Logan Hitman again. Please watch your bike. Everyone check behind them. Ban all milkshake shops in Clapton.
I just want to say, if anything does happen to Aaron, I had nothing to do with it. I'm not actually a hitman. I don't agree with assassinations. So there you go. Also, don't make light of him having milkshakes thrown at him, okay? This is so typical of the lactose intolerant left.
Lactose intolerant left. I love that. Yeah, no, we should be taking this really seriously, to be fair.
We should.
Yeah. All right, I think I'm going to leave that there because it is 9:30. Although I do, like, we shouldn't, we always have meetings about, let's keep the shows for an hour and a quarter and we always go over. But I do like to see, like, one day that we can do longer shows.
Kevin's raging, he's missing the game.
No, I'm not raging. I'm just watching it now. Fuck it.
Rude fucking
Curtin's
bastard.
like,
No,
this is
during the
so
main
nice.
show. During the main show, I didn't have it on. But during the talky bit at the end, I feel like I can chill. I've got my fan on. I'm watching the game. I can still do politics. It's good. Yeah.
But I kind of would like to see Turn Left do longer shows. Like, even we have to get paid for it before we do that. But I want to do like 3-hour shows where it's like we can cover so much stuff. I know your face is like making. I'm not saying we're doing that tomorrow. We're doing that tomorrow. But like that would be kind of cool if we'd made our shows longer. But,
if I make it to the next show.
Exactly.
Are you going to be all right?
Well, the hitman might strike. You never know.
Yeah, but I'm sure. Look, do you know anyone who could replace Lewis before he goes? Like, just give me some names, innit?
No one.
No, he's irreplaceable.
As Beyonce once said.
Don't say that, because that literally makes the hitman like more likely to kill him. Oh, he's irreplaceable.
Okay, he's fucking useless then. It's pointless.
I'm clipping that.
There you go.
Comes on our show and calls the host a fucking useless bastard. How dare you? Anyway, right. Sorry, I'm rambling. It's 9:30. I'm gonna leave it there.
You did go a bit pirate there, by the way.
Did I?
It's 9:30.
He's very fine.
No, I did not sound like
You
that.
did. You did.
You're a wizard, Harry. Sorry. No,
Honestly, it was like listening to the Wurzels. It was mad.
Well, I didn't know, did I? So.
No, you did a bit.
Probably didn't.
Wow.
Well. Anyway, right, great. Thank you, guys. I'm going to hand it back. To both of you. Bye.
We're grown up, sensible news politics show. Yes.
I thought you zoomed in then massively, but you were just leaning forward. God, that'll be on the front of the paper soon as a mugshot.
Anyway,
Lewis is killer. Anyway,
yeah, that'll be in the front of the pages when I fucking assassinate you. Oh God!
You know which constituency I'm in.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, thanks for a lovely show. I will let Kevin go because I'm sure he's got absolutely loads of things to do.
Well, I'm going to stay on because I'm now going on with a regular friend of the show, No Justice MTG, to look at something. Yeah.
No, we'll make her wait.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we will see you again in the future, Kevin. Or will I? No, I'm going to give up on the assassin jokes now.
Well, look, you might not see me, but I'll see you.
That's so fucking creepy.
I'll watch under my bike. Anyway, let's leave it there. Let's leave it there.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
The screen's on the wrong person. God, Curtis, get it right, Curtis. Anyway, if I make it to next show, I'll see you then. And if I don't make it, you know what happened to me. And I don't know who it would be who'd take me out, but you can probably guess. And all the information is safely secure away. No, it's not. I'm not organized enough for that shit. It's just in random places. So good luck finding it all. I've got shitloads of weird notes that are all in lots of weird places. So, and I just hope that they don't find like all the, photos on my phone that like weird things that. That sounds really weird in that way. That sounds so weird in that way. And now people are laughing in the background in my ear. No, because I've got so many screenshots of I've been trying to find like pictures of people that I've been investigating. So I've got like loads of weird screenshots on my phone of like, is it this person? Is it that person? And just anyway, I'm just digging myself a deeper hole. I'm digging myself a deeper hole. The producer's saying, cut the fucking show, Lewis, cut the fucking show. Anyway, this has been Normal Island Live. I will hopefully see you at the next show, but we'll be back on Monday. And thank you to everyone who has commented, donated, joined its membership. And I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. And if you're watching the England match, enjoy it. If you're rooting for the other side, I don't blame you. And we'll see everyone next week.
Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler.
Pedo in the background.
Just sound like Pedo, didn't it?
It was so pedo. I was like,
mate, yeah, but that came through on my fucking show.
I know.
That's why I was crying. Pedo.
I was like, I got nothing to interject, just pedo. Oh shit! What a weird show tonight.
Yeah, well, that's weird. I keep saying you shouldn't invite me on if you don't want weird. Because that's the only way it's going. Facts.
It's what separates us from profession. Well, we are professional in some ways, but what separates us a little bit
from cocks like Navarra and Canary. Yeah.
You need a bit of humour.
You do.
Yeah. Shame you're not fucking about as funny as Piles.
Piles are quite funny.
What was that?
Piles can be quite funny. They are someone's bum. That's that's a thing.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go fucking eat now.
Well, I didn't want to say it on the show, but I know Kevin's streaming right now, so I'll explain it better. Basically, I've got collections on my phone of various politicians, when I say kids, I mean some of them.
Okay, you didn't.
It's not making it better. It's not making it better.
Some of them are adults.
Some of them.
Right,
Yeah, tell it to the judge.
like some politicians in this country have businesses in their children's names. That's why. You have to identify them, categorize them, and use like a reverse imaging software to see where else they've been, so you can like track the politician's activity. But
so you're tracking children with your phone.
Not children, mostly teenagers.
Oh my
No,
God.
that's below, the age of majority. Just so
you're still fucking live.
I know I am. I said that, but now I can explain it better without like.
I don't know that the word "better" needed to be in that sentence because it didn't apply. Frankly,
I feel like you need to be fired now because you're going to tarnish your turn left name.
I'd love to show you what picture I'm looking at right now. Again, it's one of the weird pictures. It's not of a child.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you?
I said it's not a child.
Stop. Yeah, but just the way you form your sentences is not helping.
Yeah, like
Kevin, cut the line. If
someone introduces themselves and says, "I'm not a murderer," you go, "Hang on a minute, why have you said that? Why have you told me you're not a murderer?" I assume that. Now
you're tarnishing the turn left brand. You're tarnishing the turn left brand in a big way.
It's fine. They'll get over it.
It is well, okay.
I've got. Do you remember Nathan Gill? The handler, the Russian handler. There was a woman involved in that, and just a few days ago, somebody sent me her entire album, her private album that was basically sent around as part of what is believed to be a honey trapping scandal. So I've got like loads of weird stuff like that on my phone.
Oh mate, Jesus Christ! Like Jimmy Savile was also from Leeds, wasn't he?
She's like 25 in the photos.
No, fair enough then.
Do you think I just casually have like that type of stuff on there? No, she's like 25. I can show you if you turn your stream off now.
Probably not. Probably not.
There's lots of speculation that she was a honey trapper. So I've got like loads of weird stuff like that in all my files and phones.
I can't believe that I spent years building Turn Left just for it to end tonight.
Yeah.
Just for it to just crumble in front of me.
Yeah.
I didn't explain it very well, did I?
No. You think? No, it's alright.
Turn it.
People know what you meant.
Just got stuff like this after.
Turn Epstein.
Okay. Turn Epstein. Right. Anyway, can I eat?
There's a picture of a child. It's me.
Oh, that is you, yeah. Are you the human or the cat?
Oh, that's my cat Mossa.
He's the fucking carpet.
Right, okay. I'm going. Leave me alone.
Say, give my love to Posh Bird.
Don't contact me ever again, you bastards. No, I'm only joking.
Come on next week.
Yeah. Oh, that's awful. Oh no.
Give Posh Bird my love.
Will do. You have some weird pictures on your fucking phone, man.
You don't even need that. You don't even need that for your journalism. So why the fuck do you have pictures of Farage on your phone? It's literally like.
Look, what Aaron gets up to, Lewis gets up to in their spare time. I keep calling you Aaron. That's your second name. Jesus Christ. What Mr. Aaron gets up to in his spare time is between him and Jeebus. All right.
Got a better one for you. There you go.
Oh, that's grotesque. He looks like a fucking ball sack or something.
I've got weird shit on my phone.
Oh no. Okay, I'm going. See ya.
We really need some HR for Turn Left.
Bye.
Anyway, bye.
Oh, Jesus, flipping Christ Almighty. We're only 7 minutes late for Posh Bird. It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. Who cares? Does Jesus care? Possibly. Yeah. Anyway, let's turn that shite off. Oh, I am sweaty spaghetti, chap. Boop. Oh. Anyway, how are we getting on? We're going to be watching the future Prime Minister talk about stuff. If you're interested. I'm also still watching Australia versus Egypt. 1-1. They're about to go to penalties. So I'll be honest with you, we might get some ad hoc commentary on that as well, maybe. Let's have a look. Did that? No. Hey up, Yum Kaffa.
How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Oh, kid said, hey up, you unbelieving kuffar bastards. I'm not turning into baked beans.
Literally. Also, they looks like they're going to penalties then.
It does indeed look like they're going to penalties. I have it muted on the other screen.
Sames. Honestly, trying to watch I wouldn't do it during the main part of the show, but I was on Normal Island, so when they got to the comments bit, I thought, well, the fan's going on, and I'm watching the fucking football. So yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. So how have you been?
Uneventful. I went to the pub and played some Magic and had some food, and then I came back and watched the football. That is what I have done.
Fair enough. It sounds like a day.
How about you?
Well, not the first bit, but I have watched a bit of football.
That's fair. So. Interestingly enough, Australia have substituted their goalkeeper for the penalties.
They have, yeah, which is the thing that's becoming more common. Teams are doing this. But it does mean you have to save a substitute, although they've got so many now, who cares? But yeah.
I mean, they seem to have 1 million substitutes now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think is it 6 per side or something ridiculous.
I don't know why they all wait until like 60 minutes in. Like, if you've got that many subs, just like have an entirely fresh team halfway through the game.
Yeah, you get 6 per fucking team, which like that's more than half the team at that point.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yes. Okay. Shall we start watching this, or do you want to watch the penalties first, or what? I don't know.
I mean, we can watch this and also have that, and I can, because I've not got my camera on, so I can listen to Andy Burnham whilst watching penalties.
Okay, but we'll do that then. So the future Prime Minister had some things to say. He calling for the end of neoliberalism.
Just 1 second. Let me get my screen in the right place.
Which that's good. We'll wait and see though. But
the question is, will he actually do that?
Well, this is always the concern is that Blairites are always full of shit. So who knows?
I mean, I would not be the first time we would have been lied to by a leader of the Labour Party.
Yeah, it does feel like a repeating sort of pattern with one blip. Anyway, okay, so talking to Andrew Marr, the FA Cup impersonator, Andy Burnham. Yeah, there you go. The penny was going to drop. I thought she's absolutely done me there. Not a response at all. Anyway, right. Yeah, Andy Burnham, future Prime Minister. Let's take a gander.
6:46, and I'm glad to say that Andy Burnham, the MP for Makerfield, joins me now in the studio for his first broadcast interview since winning that seat. Well, Andy, I guess it's a bit early to call you the Prime Minister in waiting at this stage. We have to at least have the illusion that you might not become Prime Minister in a couple of weeks' time.
So he's the Prime Minister in waiting, then you can call him that?
Yeah, basically, because we know that there's no one else coming forward. They're not going to get the 80 fucking names, so it's not. Yeah, he will be Prime Minister.
Yeah,
because that is how that works. And not just that, but he has played his cards close to his chest, because he hasn't done any press interviews in the 2 weeks, and he hasn't been in Parliament much. He literally hasn't attended either Prime Minister's questions, even as a backbencher, just to sit there and soak it up or anything. He's just been nah, I've got shit to do. Which in a way, he's quite good if he's using that time well. Cool, but I don't know. Also, what do you make of the gimmick of the number 10 North thing?
I mean, that is it does feel like what it is, some sort of gimmick there, but at the very least, it is at least some of a recognition of regional inequality, which has kind of plagued this country forever.
Well, I quite like the idea he's going to make his Chancellor spend part of the week outside of London. I think that's good. I think the Cabinet should be forced to live outside of London for a bit. Because they don't seem to understand the country they're governing at all. Even ones that are MPs for places that you would think they would give them a grounding in it. But Lisa Nandy's a fucking joke. Or fucking Hilary Benn. Have you ever seen a less Leeds man in your life than Hilary Benn?
Rachel Reeves.
Yeah, exactly.
Reeves,
yeah,
MP.
Yeah, fucking absolute wankers. Anyway, yeah.
I'm very proud, Andrew, to be the MP for Makerfield. It was only, goodness, 2 weeks ago today.
It must have been an absolutely surreal fortnight.
It has been a whirlwind, but I'm still in a contest, so no assumptions.
No assumptions. I'm going to treat you as the Prime Minister in waiting, however, because I think that's how you have to treat yourself, and everybody has to assume that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no point being coy when you're literally like going through the, vetting for cabinet ministers. Like, you're going to be Prime Minister. Let's not beat around the bush.
On the subject of cabinet ministers, have you seen that we might be getting a redux on not only David Miliband to make every centrist dad wet their pants, right? And actually, come buckets, as soon as the correct Miliband is back in their rightful position in the cabinet, as far as these people are concerned, because, they continue to believe that Labour wouldn't have lost if Miliband Senior was in charge, which is, of course, nonsense. But also, he's considering bringing back Ed Balls.
Yeah, Ed Balls, putting him in the Lords, and they could be in the cabinet. Yes.
And then, we would accuse him of being a Labour cabinet minister.
Oh, shocking penalty from the Aussie. Oh, that's a fucking awful penalty. Sorry.
The guy behind.
Oh, okay. I won't react in that way. Apologies. But that was shit. How much did this miss by? Lots is the answer. He missed by lots. That was not close. The thing is, he sent the keeper the wrong way and then put it fucking 2 yards over the bar. What?
He looks like one of the guys from Saturday Night Live.
Actually, he does. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, look.
That's terrible, Jesus. So that's the gap. That's the delay that I'm on there.
How are you that far? Scroll forward. There's no way you're.
I've got it on live.
Well, I don't know what the fuck's happening there. Okay.
But yes, Ed Balls will be a cabinet minister, and suddenly that interview with Zach Polanski will get even funnier. And also, we can bring back that picture of Ed Balls being very, very angry on GMB to mock him with.
Well, maybe he just wants to be in the cabinet so he gets to spend some time with his wife.
That's true. Like, he's like, my turn with the genocide, please.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Can I ask you a bit about that very, very interesting speech you made at Makerfield in Manchester after the by-election? You talked about a culture of doing things differently at Westminster and reaching out to other parties. Can I ask, does that mean, for instance, on something like the grooming gangs, where you're using fairly similar language to the Conservative leader, Kemi Baden?
This is the issue you think is most pressing? That he needs to... Oh, God. The British media are so useless.
I mean, you've got to remember, at the very least, like, Andrew Marr is just a new Labour guy. Like, he does just blow smoke up these people's asses because these are the people that he supports, right?
Yeah.
At no point has he ever looked like a credible and unbiased journalist. Remember when he was on Question Time?
Yeah.
Just after the election going, looks like there's going to be an ocean of sanctity in the United Kingdom with a very strong, stable government. And I was like, fucking hell, mate. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Oh, Jackson. Oh, no, you're behind. Yeah, sorry. No, I need to stop reacting. I'll just say this. The next Aussie that takes the penalty plays for St. Pauli and is a bit leftoid. That's all.
Knock that you could actually bring her in and say, look, actually, in the end, we all agree about this scandal. Let's work together.
I think that's what the public want. They don't enjoy the point scoring at all. I often have people say to me, I just scream at the radio, tell us what you would do. And I kind of feel politicians have to answer that call from the public, say what we'll do, but then also work to find common ground with other parties where we can. I've been really excited,
so
Andrew,
work by the Conservatives or the Liberal Democrats or whoever on the grooming gangs thing, for instance.
I've done that very thing in Greater Manchester because I brought forward a review into grooming gangs when I was first elected as mayor in 2017, and I had to work with the Conservative leader of Bolton and the Lib Dem leader of Stockport. So that's been the politics that I've been doing, and Britain does need something different. We've had a decade where politics really has not been working for people at all. We can't do more of the same. And this is what I was saying in the speech this week. The time has come for a circuit breaker to try something different. And I've been really excited by the reaction I've had to the speech this week. People have been coming up to me saying, OK, I like what you're saying. I like the idea of more power out of Westminster into places around the country, particularly those that have been forgotten. And yeah, I think the country is ready for a change.
Let me give you another example. Every single week I trot off to Prime Minister's questions and I sit there all up.
The problem I have with the devolution plan, I like the idea of taking any amount of power from Westminster because Westminster's shite. But if you don't fund it, what you're doing is just putting another economic burden on local government that they can't fulfil.
I mean, what
like people
do is
like Gideon, of all people, devolved powers to councils and then cut all the funding so they couldn't do anything about it.
You tried to make them be entrepreneurial, but it also meant that people could blame a lot of councils, which at the time of a lot of the time with Labour run, and they just blamed them. It's like it was a purely political move because these people are all genuinely like horrendous individuals.
Yeah.
I think what Andy Burnham wants to do is essentially go further in that same route in terms of the level of autonomy these places have, but also give them more responsibility as well. So he says he wants to devolve welfare to these places, which essentially means welfare cuts. Like, even if you provided the same budget that you currently spend on welfare to local authorities to administer it, because they are, cash strapped already and looking to deliver for constituents in terms of reality, right? They probably will cut back on welfare because that's not something that is of a concern to most people who go out and vote for local authorities,
True. I know there's a few second delay, but I need you to react with me to Mo Salah's penalty.
Okay.
Because it's
something. It's quite something.
It is a thing. It is a thing that just occurred and will occur for you in about 15 seconds or something ridiculous. Yeah, it is. Honestly, it's a thing.
I was taking it now. Oh.
Honestly, bollocks you have to carry around in a fucking wheelbarrow. Unbelievable. Cheeky little fucking Panenka. You crafty little cunt.
Absolutely dashed up to it as well. I was like,
yeah,
well, I'll learn.
Like he was going to absolutely leather it and then just dinked it right down the middle. Oh, you absolute fucking Chad. Unbelievable stuff.
Optimistic, and it's but you said this and you did that 14 years ago, and but what about this and what about that? Nobody answers any questions. There is no kind of genuine conversation going on. Are you going to end that?
Well, I'm going to stick to what I'm saying, and people will have to judge me if I am in that position where I am at the dispatch box. I am going to do it differently. I'm going to do politics differently. Where there's a difference, of course, you point it out, but you don't do the point scoring in the way that it's normally done in the House of Commons. I think people are really fed up with it, and this is a really important point. You can't go around pointing fingers when you haven't been good enough yourselves, and I would say that all politicians haven't been good enough.
You say you yourself.
Yeah, I would accept it. Yeah. My generation of politicians, I think, has failed in many ways.
I like that he says my generation of politicians, as in, like, he's sort of, it seems on the face of it like he's accepting that he's a part of it, but he isn't really. He's saying the generation of politicians from which I come, but not me. Even though he was the guy who did fucking PFIs.
Also worth pointing out as well on top of that, like, your generation of politicians, so David Miliband and Ed Balls, right? Like the people you want to put in your cabinet?
Yeah. Yeah. Or, indeed, Mrs. Ed Balls, who was also a part of all of that, who presumably is going to have a high-profile job as well.
Literally.
That the country isn't where it should be right now. The country needs lifting up, and at some point, someone has to step forward and say, you know what, this does mean practicing a different way of working and things. Trying to bring people together. In Greater Manchester, I've said place first, not party first.
Yeah, you've said it a million fucking times. It's very Starmer. It's very Starmer in the robotic way in which you repeat it over and over and over again. It's very irritating. Please stop.
Problem solving, not point scoring.
I did see my previous rant.
Term, not short term, and I think those are three good principles to underpin British politics at a national level going forward.
Let me ask you about Labour MPs, because again it seems to me this is a vast perpetual kind of focus group. People who go out around the country, know their own areas, are listening to their own...
Okay, you've had enough time now. Egypt are through. Inshallah!
I mean, this is one of the ones that actually I genuinely had no pick on who I wanted to win. I just wanted it to be a good game. That was a good game.
So you didn't know if you wanted the African country to win or the country of hot racists?
I mean, I usually judge by the actual players themselves, but like, I didn't have an opinion. I definitely know who I want to win this evening's match, though.
Well, presumably best player ever, Lionel Messi, is who you want to win, right?
No. I'm talking about best goalkeeper ever, Vicinha.
Yes, 40-year-old legend. There is one 40-year-old on the pitch who's worth supporting. I think, actually, to be fair, Messi's like 38 or something. Like, but whatever. Yeah.
It is incredible the gulf at which like Messi is still, you know, a credible footballer, and Ronaldo just isn't.
Well, yeah, because Ronaldo's been racking up loads of goals playing against nobody in the desert. Like, who cares? Like, those goals don't mean anything. Like, they compare. I can't believe they're comparing him to Pele. You're like, motherfucker, Pele scored goals against professionals. Like, top-tier Brazilian fucking footballers.
Yeah, it's like when people try and compare Muralitharan with Warren, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, Muralitharan has like 2 points higher average, but Sri Lanka kept playing against Bangladesh and Zimbabwe, so he just took wickets for fun.
And
whereas Shane Warne had an average of 25 against like England and India and Pakistan and the West Indies.
Yeah, and Muralitharan played half of his games on like the ridiculous turning pitches of Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
rather than the roads of fucking Perth or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on,
or the or like the swinging pitches in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't play loads of games against fucking New Zealand on the greenest pitches you've ever seen. No.
Yeah.
Come on now. You know.
Voters, they understand, you know, what the grievances coming back are, what the hopes, what the worries are coming back, and yet they haven't really been used properly. They, you know, they're left there in their offices, they come in to vote, they come out to vote, they're standing at the back cheering. Can you use MPs in a better way in Westminster?
I believe so. I do think Westminster needs quite significant culture change. I said this week, it didn't feel like the place I left when I came back last Monday. It does feel a more fragmented place, unhappier in many ways, and I think we do.
Also, thank you, Tina, too, for raiding in. I didn't notice because I didn't have my alert box turned on because I was doing a show. Apologies, but everyone go and follow Tina too immediately.
He says it's like fragmented in Westminster, and I'm just like, yes, we have more parties actually in Westminster now, and that's a good thing. In fact, it was bad when Westminster was entirely filled with people who not only were members of literally just two parties and also all agreed with each other.
Yes, the only problem is, of course, it becomes less functional when we've got first past the post. But thankfully, he's about to become Prime Minister and stop that. Oh, no, he isn't.
And on top of this, like, this is when his problem-solving, not point-scoring stuff comes from. Because, again, his era of politics in Westminster was during the 2010s when every single politician all agreed. Apart from like 5 on the back benches, right? Like literally everyone just agreed with everything that Blair did on the Tory and Labour benches. There was no kind of difference of opinion except when it came to 90-day detention. That was basically the only point of inflection where people had opinions on these things.
And like Blair blatantly wanted to join the Euro, but never had it as a policy because it wasn't really.
Well, Brown knew it was stupid.
Yeah. Whereas the Tories were always like, "Fuck that," because nationalism, and that was like the hits, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually the economics is why you shouldn't be doing it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But again, like, and he's going to come into office as the Prime Minister in not only a country with hugely different viewpoints, but a parliament with hugely different viewpoints. He's going to go, I think we can work together for solutions. I'm like, no, you can't, because everyone has different. Like, when things are going well, you just want to keep things the way they are. Things are absolutely fucking messy, and everyone wants a different thing to be the big change that gets done, and you're going to have to win against those competing ideologies. You are going to have to fight for what you believe, and what you can't do is expect people who always have like totally different kind of perspectives and worldviews to just agree with you when they don't have the same beliefs.
I was about to say, right? Yeah, who is he gonna? Who are his partners to work with here? A woman feuding with Doctor Who, or people who are like fomenting race war? Like, are you going to jump in bed with either of those people? Because I'm not sure that's the change people wanted you to bring, mate.
Indeed. Also, on top of that, like, or work with people who think that genocide is mad, right? Like, this guy, I mean, what is worth pointing, he has been strangely quiet on it, although he did call for a ceasefire reasonably early, but also put for previous member of LFI, so...
True, and of course, as one of his main top leaders, a former chair of LFI. So, you know, it's not great. I can't imagine that policy is going to change a great deal.
No.
Yeah. Also, we haven't heard him say whether he's going to play Ed Davey one-on-one at FIFA. I presume that offer is intra prime ministerial.
Well, if anything, it's just proof again that Keir Starmer cannot keep any promises.
Literally.
Rediscover a sense of team spirit. I personally don't think the whip should be used to punish people who...
Okay, I cannot wait to see how quickly that gets broken.
Yeah, with the guy who he's got as chief of staff, you know, and apparently Morgan McSweeney is going to be still around the picture. We'll see how long that lasts, chat.
Yeah. Good to see Morgan McSweeney, Captain Hindsight. Oh, the government didn't really have a plan. Yeah, really.
I'm going to watch it.
No shit, mate.
The full thing in video onto the BBC News on YouTube, so I'm definitely going to watch that after this.
Yeah.
Have a vote on a matter of conscience.
You'd say, frankly, that was a mistake made during the Starmer years.
I didn't see that done in the Blair and Brown year.
It wasn't a mistake. It was a deliberate strategy, right?
Yeah.
Like they wanted to purge the left because they think that they can win over the sensibles, and it turns out actually the right wingers are much harder to win over when all you're doing is pandering, and they know you're pandering because you've literally disagreed with them your entire career up until the point where you changed their exact opinions.
Yeah. And
I don't think it builds the sort of common spirit that you need, the sense that everybody is involved, that people can take a different position, and it's not the end of the world if they do that. More broadly, I do think we've got to find a better way of involving people in the work of the government. MPs have got a lot to offer, but I also think we need to empower them, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying take power out of Westminster and put it into the regions and into their constituencies. We've got an unaccountable outsourced state. Often we've got bodies at a national level that don't listen, that don't act. In Makerfield on flooding, it flooded seriously in 2015 and again in 2025. That's just not acceptable. We've got an illegal rubbish tip that hasn't been moved. Again,
not acceptable.
That is not acceptable. MPs need to be given more power to make the state accountable to their communities.
You also said in the passage in your speech talking about changing the culture, I will bring an inclusive team in at the very highest level.
Yeah.
That sounds to me like you are not...
Yeah, there are going to be Zionists of every colour, race and creed. There are going to be gay Zionists, lady Zionists. Come on,
apparently
man.
we're going to be the gayest Zionist parliament, according to Keir Starmer.
Cannot wait. Going to be awesome.
I'm going to ask you for the cabinet names. You're very welcome to give them to me if you want, but I'm not going to ask that. But it sounds to me that you are not going to create a cabinet of Andy Burnham's mates. You're not going to create a cabinet of just one faction in the Labour Party, an all-soft left cabinet. You are going to be...
Interesting that you did make this point about Keir Starmer literally doing that. Like, literally just doing a cabinet of just the right of the party.
Yeah.
You didn't have any problem with him literally doing, like, Stalinist purges and stuff? No. Okay.
And again, like...
Cool.
Literally, his entire critique is always a bit of a mistake then, was it? I'm like, no, it was a damning indictment on the fucking... how much of an authoritarian freak that Keir Starmer was.
Yeah.
Inclusive. All the different parts of the Labour family are going to be in cabinet.
Yes, and let me take you back to the speech I gave at the Count in Makerfield, when I said I see this as a last chance to change, particularly for the Labour Party. You could say for politics more broadly. People are giving up on it, and that has got to be addressed with a really new way of thinking about things, a freshness in what we do. Make no mistake, what I am putting forward here is a very different approach. When it comes to the political direction, that is not up for negotiation. Let me just be clear with your listeners, Andrew, what that is. It is an end to trickle-down economics, which did not trickle down very much at all to places like Makerfield. It's an end to neoliberalism. That means the
Okay. What does that mean, though? What's he going to do to end it, exactly?
I mean, when he talks about the unaccountable state and, like, arm's-length bodies, I mean, I guess that's part and part of neoliberalism, but it's just bad governance, I guess, right? I mean, I guess that it is the neoliberal kind of diktat that the private sector must be more efficient than the public sector is part and parcel of why that's happening, you know. But also, it's also part of the failure of the political class in that politics is being used to give people cushy non-job sinecures on the public dime, rather than being used for, you know, again, the best possible delivery of services, you know.
Yes, and I will even skip past you using a foreign denomination of currency there. But anyway, thank you, Scribby, for 50 months on Twitch. Much love to you. Seek help, but, you know, thank you.
Deregulation, the privatisation, you know, it has left us in a position, if you look at something like water, where the shareholders never lose, the public never win, because they're paying ever higher bills, but that money isn't going into infrastructure to benefit them, it's going out.
So are you going to reverse the privatisation, Andrew? Because just saying privatisation has been bad, okay, so you're not going to privatise any more stuff, but are you going to, let's say, renationalise anything?
There were greater public control, Kevin. That means definitely 100% nationalisation, and I won't hear a word against it.
Yeah, a lot of mealy-mouthed nonsense. There's some good platitudes in there, but so far that's all I'm seeing.
Out to the shareholder, and this is the change. But then to deliver that change, to come back to your question, I want there to be the most inclusive approach to building the team, so that all parts of the party can see themselves represented within it.
And again, I'm not going to ask for names, but to do that, the biggest difficult choice you have to make now is who your chancellor is going to be. Do you now know who that person is going to be?
No, I haven't made those decisions, and deliberately not. Because
can you give us some sense of when we'll know?
I think.
Well, look, all I'm saying is, assuming he doesn't get elected mayor of Manchester, which seems unlikely, there is a former Labour MP going, who you could put in the Lords, and his name is George Galloway.
Oh my fucking god! Imagine
Throbbing.
Literally.
I think it's been a little frustrating for me in the last sort of 10 days, 2 weeks, because kind of Westminster goes into its normal mode and it wants to endlessly speculate about personalities before policy and before direction. And I very deliberately have said, no, I'm going to set out a new direction for the country. And I did that.
Right, but part of that is who you put into these positions, because you can't micromanage everything. Like, we understand that Keir Starmer did the opposite of that, and he did no management at all. But you can't do the opposite and do all of it. So who you make the Chancellor is very important. Who you make the Home Secretary is very important, because those people will make decisions.
On top of that as well, like I don't think Andy Burnham's political prospectus is the kind of prospectus that would make him the person who would be the one dictating Treasury policy, right? Like,
no, but that was
trust him in terms of vision. I don't trust him in terms of vision. Like, the things he's saying on vision sound good, right? But I don't think that he's going to be the one who's going to be able to budget correctly.
Well, no, but that was my sort of my rhetorical point, I suppose, is that it's not just personalities, because the Chancellor, who you make Chancellor, matters, because that person will have different political perspectives. Like, it would make a difference if he chose, Rachel Reeves or fucking Lenin to be Chancellor. It's not just personalities; they have very different politics. Yeah. And honestly, the corpse of Lenin would do a better job than Rachel Reeves.
Most politicians in this country would probably do a worse job than Lenin's corpse.
Yeah.
On Monday, I was pleased with how it's been received. And I think it's really important that's done. Now, I didn't answer questions, and some people criticised me for that. But again, I'm challenging some of the prevailing culture where it immediately will go into a Westminster obsession.
Yeah, have you been slightly disconcerted or disappointed by the desperate scramble for jobs?
Why would you be disappointed by it? Like, that's just how politics has always worked. That's sort of the nature of the beast in many respects. Like, it's unseemly, but it would be fucking weird. Like, it would actually be a sign that no one believes in his political project if they weren't trying to be a part of it. Like the fact that they're all now coming out and pretending they were always in favour of like scrapping the 2-child benefit cap and all of this. Like undoubtedly the careerists are moving in a Burnham direction because that's where the career lies, isn't it? You know.
Well, in some cases, a lot of them just want to be there because they believe they have projects to finish, right? Ed Miliband's certainly one who has a project he wants to finish. So, for all, I was going to say for better, for worse, but obviously for worse, Shabana Mahmood, she has her own policy of, like, weirdo panopticon, like, anti-immigration, crackdown, destroy the economy shit, So, like, she really wants to finish that project to completion.
And she's only got 2 years to do it because she's definitely losing her fucking seat. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Thank fuck for that.
Mm.
Just the way it would be always
Slightly,
in the
bit.
past. Well, it's obviously a big moment, isn't it? And obviously I want to build that inclusive team. I wouldn't say disappointed. People are entitled to put their case, but I think it's really important that firstly people understand what is being proposed here. And then consider what their contribution to delivering that new direction for the country might be.
Let me ask you about money and the economic direction then. You mentioned the fiscal rules in your speech. You didn't mention tax. They may not have been the wisest promises, but the Labour Party did make promises about tax in its 2024 manifesto. Do you stick by those promises?
Yes, I stick by the manifesto and the promises that it made. So let me be absolutely...
Which leaves them a lot of scope because it didn't make many fucking policy suggestions at all. It was a very empty document.
The thing is, it was very light on what it would do and is very heavy on what it wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Is the reality here. And even then, like, they've already broken a bunch of pledges anyway because it's Keir Starmer, it's what he does, right? But when it comes to tax and spend, the explicit pledge to not raise the rates of VAT, national insurance or income tax
on working people.
Yeah.
Specifically.
For sure. Yeah. That's one that is hugely hand-binding for a future prime minister, right?
Yep.
It's also incredibly fucking stupid. You don't know what the economy is looking to look like in 5 years' time. When this Strait of Hormuz shit kicks off, there might have to be an increase in tax because of how inflationary it's going to be and how much the overall the state might just be needing to step in loads of cases, right? Like, there's going to be plenty of reasons why you might need to have more taxation. And if you've just gone like, nope, no, these levers aren't at my disposal, then you're fucked, aren't you? Isn't people like the Tories said having a migration cap? I'm like, well, what if plague hits like all of like Liverpool or something? What if like people get wiped out in one city and our productive capacity like falls off a cliff? We're going to need migrants then, but you've set like a legal fucking limit and we won't be able to get them and the economy will collapse.
Yeah, why are you binding yourself to things that are fucking stupid? Why are you taking away some of the levers that you can pull as a government to affect things?
I mean, the thing is, of course, is that there's two reasons. Is that they are desperate to just win the public over without thinking about the long-term problems that those promises might cause, right? Like, how many, like 2% or less of the vote if they didn't make that promise potentially or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And also, the public are also stupid and
is true.
refuse to accept that tax rises are necessary sometimes.
Very much so, yes. Thank you, Kieran. I won't read that out because that's grotesque, but thank you. No one wants to think about Shabana like that. Good Lord. Don't forget you can give both No Justice and myself money in the form of bits and subs and super chats and all of that jazz. I probably forgot some things, but you get the idea.
Clear about that, but there is some room within that manifesto for movement on tax. So if you take business rates, for instance, I believe there is a case for higher business rates on warehouses and the major developments we see on the outskirts of our city.
They've literally already done this.
Yeah.
They've literally already done this. So for people who don't know how business rates works, there's a thing called the rateable value, which is essentially a multiplier that's applied to the equivalent rental value of the actual building that's being used for the commercial property. You multiply them together, and that's how much tax that you pay as a business rate. And the government already, at the last spending review, put into place something they announced in the previous budget, which increased the multiplier for warehouses and box stores and shit like that, and reduce the multiplier for the service sector, for example, right? Yeah. So they've already done this, and the idea that this is something that we should do more of, I guess you can make that argument. But the fact that he's saying this now, when it's already been done, I'm like, well, you're too fucking late, mate.
Yeah.
It's too late. And people are pissed off, right? Because business rates went up because they get reevaluated every 3 years. And so, of course, a lot of commercial premises have massively seen the rental values increase in the last 3 years because of the nature of real estate that's happened in the post-pandemic world.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like, people attacked Rachel Reeves as if it was her fault that landlords were pushing up the values of properties, commercial property, when she'd already tried to give these high footfall service sector businesses business rate cuts, and then they got mad at her as if it was her fault when she'd already done something good for her. I mean,
Indeed.
I'm sorry for it in a way.
Yeah. That's how it works in the rest of the country. They use the rateable value, but in Birmingham we use the ratable value.
True.
To sort out these things, you know.
Cities, so that we can cut business
Cities?
rates for pubs, and I've proposed a 20% cut, and lift some high street businesses out of business rates altogether. I say some and not all because I think it's important to, if you like, prioritise and reward the businesses that bring social benefit, the businesses that bring people together, the bars, the restaurants, the coffee shops, the hairdressers, because the high street really needs to get more of our attention. We need to bring life back to the high street. Yeah. So I'm looking at things where I can make a change that answers some of the issues that we see up and down high streets across Britain, but overall people can be certain of one thing of me. Read some of the commentary. I am not indisciplined when it comes to the public finances. I was in the Treasury, I ran the Department of Health, and we had a very healthy...
Yeah, thanks, we're still paying for your PFIs, you cunt. Awesome.
That's the thing, is that they were overly cautious in terms of borrowing at the time, when they could have done that instead of PFIs, and the interest rate would have been significantly lower.
Yeah, but I mean, they bought the generation of Boomer generation votes and Gen X generation votes at the expense of everyone today.
True.
It was tight, but we had a very healthy set of finances. I've run Greater Manchester, the fastest growing city region in the country, for a decade.
You get free money from the government.
And
there's nothing to do in running Greater Manchester in terms of raising revenue, right? You get given a massive block grant by the government and then you spend it. Yeah. That's it. That's why every mayor is liked in this country, because none of them have to do any of the difficult bits. All they get given is this big stipend from the government that they then shower upon their constituents, right? Even Ben Houchen is liked by his constituents, despite the fucking tease works, definitely not corruption happening.
You can't make it the fastest growing city region in the country, Andrew, without strong business confidence in what you're doing.
This is your message to the bond
finances
market,
I run in Greater Manchester are rock solid, and from those rock solid public finances come business confidence that has helped us get the growth. And I actually get frustrated at some of the narrative that people try to put around about me. My record says otherwise.
That's really interesting. Let me ask you about small businesses more generally, because they have faced national insurance contributions coming in. They've faced higher minimum wages. They've faced workers' rights. They've faced spiking energy costs, and many of them are going under. Would you produce...
I like that they face workers' rights. Workers' rights is inherently a negative. That's just given. We don't need to discuss that element of it. It's just taken for granted. Workers' rights is bad.
Literally, it's what they always say. There are two parties. There aren't two parties. There's one party, and it's called the Business Party, and it comes in different sets of colours.
Yep.
A kind of programme to help small businesses in this country survive, specifically.
Yeah, and I just gave you an example of how I would do that in relation to business rates.
National insurance.
But you also mentioned energy costs, and I want to come back to this point about Britain paying too much for the basics. People are paying too much, but businesses are also paying too much, and that is certainly true of energy. And what I would do, if successful, is lay out a plan for more public control over...
There you go. Mealy mouth bullshit. Yay!
Because what's frustrating is, he's so close to being right.
Yep.
He's so close to being right, and he's just, again, does it all, cloaked in euphemism. It's very frustrating, because it's literally true that we get ripped off for energy because of marginal cost pricing and privatisation. We absolutely do, and it's a failure of investment. a failure of planning and a failure of neoliberalism to say that this is the case. And it's not just affecting people, it's making us industrial uncompetitive with the highest industrial energy costs in Europe.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look back in, a couple of weeks, in May of this year, it was sunny enough that in Germany, the energy cost was 0. They produced so much solar electricity that energy prices went down to fucking 0 whilst we were paying £71 a kilowatt hour. And I'm like, what's the fucking point? What is the actual fucking point? Cut the green crap though, right?
Yeah. But again, he's so close to being right, but has allowed himself enough wiggle room that he can afford to be wrong. And he will be.
Water, energy, transport, so that over the period we can get those bills down, fares down, and give people and give businesses breathing space. Britain needs more breathing space, Andrew. I heard that on doorstep after doorstep in Makerfield. We do need to be serious about putting more money back into people's pockets.
And being serious in terms of maintaining a tight control on public finances, welfare reform seems to be one of the biggest issues of all.
Jesus Christ. Andrew, you are a sack of dog shit.
I mean, he says it like, it seems to be one of the biggest issues. Yeah, it is a big issue because the media keep fucking pushing it.
Yeah. It's like the only thing they want to talk about. You need to cut welfare, otherwise how are we going to buy bombs?
I mean, the Tories just love killing poor people.
That is
true. It literally does genuinely feel like I'm in 2009 all over again, watching Benefit Street all over again. Just continuity, Blair versus Cameron every single year for the rest of eternity. And it genuinely makes me want to cave my skull in.
Yep.
We have an entire generation of kids who are not working at all and are on benefits.
What?
Is that going to be a priority?
An entire generation of kids not working is insane. It's an insane misappropriation of the reality. The reality is that young people's unemployment, or the not education employment or training, is about 15%. It's basically been about that level for 15 years. Yeah. It's slightly higher now than it was during the pandemic or just before the pandemic, right? But it's always been high. It's always been above 10%, between 10 and 15% since 2008. The idea that it's the whole generation, when of course 85% of these people are actually in work, employment or training, right? Yep. 85% are, so there's still a large portion of these people who are economically active. And second of all, the idea that it's this generation, or that it's a failure of a singular party's policy rather than an extant problem of A, neoliberalism, and B, the financial crisis, is insane. Andrew Marr is again making stuff up, misinforming his viewers by pretending this is something that it isn't.
Yeah. Whereas there is an entire generation that are the richest generation that are not working in employment, training, or fucking skills or anything, that are the massive problem in terms of the the booming, if you want to call it that, benefits bill, and that's the boomers.
Yep.
Those are the ones with their feet up, going on their fucking fourth fucking Riviera holiday of the year, complaining about the young'uns and the fucking immigrants.
The people who pay their rents for their buy-to-lets, right? Like, of course, again, giant, obviously, overgeneralization here. Not all boomers are right-wing landlords on holiday, right? Some of them aren't poor, but they are the richest generation in history. They are literally going to be the richest generation in history, and probably the richest generation for the rest of history as well. I don't think any generation will ever be richer than boomers, as what we've seen.
And they might end up being the tallest as well.
They might end up being the tallest too. That's also very true. And it's good that they get a good pension. I'm glad that there's a pension. I'm glad there's pension credit. But the idea that should rise significantly more than everybody else's income forever for the rest of time is stupid.
Exactly. When I attack boomers, I'm not attacking every single boomer, obviously. But as a cohort, as a voting bloc, they have consistently voted to immiserate everybody else.
That, literally is basically true. That is basically true. Again, like, I have to make it clear, because boomers will otherwise come into my comments and go, not all boomers. And I'm like, did I say all boomers? Did I imply all boomers? No, obviously I'm talking about the right-wing ones. But again, the people who are in the minority think that because they're an exception, it means there's no rule. And I'm like, but there is a rule. And the rule is that the majority of boomers, so the significant majority of boomers vote right-wing, have right-wing opinions, and also treat young people with disdain.
Literally, virtually every political opinion or every poll, every position that you could have, always control for age, because there is a definite cut-off point of between 40 and 50 years of age, at which point you become crazily right-wing.
It's material conditions in it. Like
Yeah.
they are wanting to protect the things that they have because they were, in lots of cases, gifted a pretty good welfare state and political system from the generation that preceded them, which they, as a nest egg, which they then just like ate and cooked and gobbled up like a greedy chicken.
Yes. Yeah.
By voting for Thatcher for loads of money, right? Like, and again, this isn't all of them, but this is the majority. Enough of a majority that Thatcher got elected 3 times, and then Major got elected.
Well, I was about to say Thatcher didn't get elected 3 times. She's been elected about a dozen times now.
Well, that's true. Different versions of Thatcher have been elected since then, right?
Sometimes with a red rosette, sometimes with a funky smile, sometimes she went to Eton, sometimes she was a little brown man. You know, it happens.
Sometimes she had floppy hair.
Sometimes she killed the Queen.
Yeah, unironically, Johnson is probably the least Thatcherite Prime Minister that we've had.
Pretty much, yeah.
Years, which is crazy. Well, Brown and Johnson, basically, the two.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just incredibly frustrating. Like this point I'm now going to make, I think exemplifies boomer attitude, like the boomer mindset, chat. So there was a poll done recently about people's support for the increase in the defense budget. And as always, the support for this stuff significantly increased the older that you got, to the point at which it was like plus 65 for the over 65s in terms of wanting to see defense spending go up. Like 77 to 12 or whatever it was. And then in the crosstabs, there was a follow-up question of, if we're going to increase money for defense spending, what should we cut? And the first thing they asked was, should we scrap the triple lock? And it immediately flipped diametrically opposite, where the 65 and overs said 77% no and 14% yes. It's for a score of minus 63, an 120-point swing from support to oppose, as soon as you tack on the idea that maybe it's the continual increase in the state pension above everyone else's income that might get cut.
Yep, the most selfish generation that ever lived. But it's okay, they've instituted the economic situation that'll kill the planet for everybody, so that's fine.
Yep, cool. Literally, get born, dismantle the welfare state, buy all of the cheapest tap, become landlords, go on a holiday, and then die before the world collapses after they've used it up.
Yeah.
Brilliant, thanks. Great. Again, just want to make it clear, this isn't all of them. Everyone, there's loads of boomers in my audience, and I love you. Thank you for being the exception. We appreciate you here on the No Justice stream.
But the exception does not disprove the rule. Look at the numbers, they're there.
They literally treat the rights right, Solly says in chat.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's going to be, again, something that I will do in a different way to the usual way that it's done down here in Westminster. You often will get an approach, calls in newspapers for people to be tough on benefits and crude.
Can you persuade Labour MPs to follow you on this?
I hope so. So let me explain what I'm proposing. I'm not going to go with the crude cuts to benefit levels that then just put people who are struggling in even worse poverty, and that often creates the backlash, and understandably so. There's a different approach, which is looking at 2 things that can be done differently to get the overall benefits bill down. One of those is...
Okay, he's definitely not going to say triple lock at any point.
No, he won't do. And on top of this, he won't say the other big thing, which is getting people healthy.
Yeah.
If you really want something that would absolutely bring the welfare bill down, is have a huge investment in getting people healthy. The reason why welfare is going up and the level of disability claimants is going up is because people are unhealthy because we haven't invested in the NHS for 15 years. But that's the reality.
Yeah, both physically and mentally, yeah.
Exactly. like more mental health support, an entire kind of sea change in how we view mental health and a way of helping these people. Because again, I think they tell people in the job centres when they do reports on this stuff, when fucking Fraser Nelson did his documentary about this stuff, they all said, we want to work.
Yeah.
Obviously, when it's PIP, it's not work requirement, right? You can have PIP and not be in work, but there are people who have like LCWRA who are too sick to work, people in incapacity, whatever it is, right? Those people who are written off, right? They all say that they want to work and they just don't get any fucking support, right? Yeah. And you know what? That will involve spending money now. Yeah. That will involve spending some money. And no one wants to admit it. Because again, they want to believe that there's a mythical cohort of fraudsters or layabouts or scroungers, rather than the reality is that we're a sick, sick, sick country. We are the sick man of Europe, and it requires investment. We need to invest in people. But again, we've decided that due to conservative ideology, personal investment is something that only anyone can be responsible for themselves. And if the country fucks up because people haven't applied themselves, then tough shit, whatever, rather than looking at a macro kind of perspective and say, well, actually, you know, we can't choose how people act, but we can influence how they act with good state investment. And they haven't done it. They've not invested in people in this country. And again, that's why young people are out of work. They've not had investment.
Yeah, yeah. We are the sick man of Europe, literally. Not just metaphorically or economically, literally.
How we support young people. I will not defend an education system that is overly focused on the university route and does not lay out paths to technical qualifications for our young people. Too many young people get to year 10 at school and they can't see where school is taking them because the system isn't focusing on those young people. We need an education system balanced between academic and technical. And then at 16, I believe we need the guarantee of a work placement for 16 to 18-year-olds, apprenticeships for every 16 to 18-year-old who wants one. And what I've done in Greater Manchester is something that might be looked at more broadly, free bus travel for 16 to 18-year-olds so that they can access those opportunities. In my view, if we did that...
Okay. You know what? I'll take that. That is at least something towards the investment in young people that I would like to see. Giving people access to more apprentices and training, actual investment in people through making them better able to act in the job market. And because again, like labour mobility is an important thing, and giving people free bus passes is great.
Well, that's fine in its own way, but does it just mean make workfare easier?
I mean, that again, the devil will be in the detail, isn't it? You know, like it's when it's a work placement, it's got to be voluntary. It's got to be entirely voluntary. Otherwise, it turns it from a demand side labour policy to a supply side policy, and that's whether it's good for workers or not when you do that thing. So again, I'm going to withhold judgment until I see the policy in writing.
It just becomes slave labour for Poundland.
Well, exactly. Well, that's exactly what the current workfare plan is from the government. They're calling it the Youth Guarantee Scheme, but it's not optional. You'll be forced into doing it, and the government pays half your fucking wages for you. You are literally being subsidised labour for one of the companies. Apparently, is Severn Trent Water. One of the polluting water companies is the Pat McFadden's buddy to flog away cheap labour from the state.
So we're going to be subsidising half the wage of the person that will be pumping shit into the waters of the companies we refuse to nationalise. Cool. What a fantastic... Honestly, Kia, why are you going, mate? You're so good at this.
Literally.
And we changed the way we provide mental health support to young people, so that
would be a massive change.
In-work support. I believe you can substantially reduce the number of needs. If you build more council homes, you can bring down the housing benefit bill. You do it over a longer term in a more sustainable way.
Sorry, a final area that we need to talk about is obviously defence spending.
Sure.
You saw the defence investment plan, I think, before it was published. You've got it there.
Right there. Yep.
Did you know at that moment that you're going to have to find an extra £15 billion from somewhere to pay for it?
Easy to give flea and tick protection.
Fuck off, man. Oh, God.
If you can find any song in the world in seconds.
Didn't have all of the details. I wasn't in all of the discussions, but to be fair, the government had an internal process ongoing.
You don't regard this as a hand grenade kind of lobbed at you by the outgoing Prime Minister?
I regard it as something that the country has to face up to very seriously. We're in a changing world. The nature of the threat is changing. What I can say to you tonight is I will take my responsibilities fully to fund the Defence Investment Plan. If I'm in the position to do so, I will take those responsibilities extremely seriously. No compromise on the security of the nation. More broadly, I just think we need to build the resilience of the country in all of our places.
And just one more aspect of the speech you made, number 10 North. Do you know where the building is going to be? Can you tell us a little bit more about how it's going to work?
Yeah, it's really exciting. This is about obviously extending the Downing Street operation, but particularly creating a North Pole, if you like, so that the country can see that power is more balanced. Number 10 North will act in the...
He's not even pretending to govern on behalf of Scotland and Wales, is he?
I mean, at the very least, they have their own devolved parliaments, right? And if this devolution settlement is, Wales and Scotland could do even more of their own stuff, then I guess the more power to them. Again, so much of this stuff is all just rhetoric rather than policy at the moment.
Well, exactly, and I do have to wonder how his devolving powers from Westminster is going to play when the Scottish government come knocking for that referendum.
I mean, that is, of course, the big question, isn't it?
Because there's no way he's going to give it to them, right? So, you can have more powers. Not that one. No. Bad Scotland. Get in your cage. Get in your cage.
It's the £1 million Scottish dinar question. I don't know why I've said that the Scottish Central Bank after independence will be will be spending the dinar. I don't know why I did that, but I have to create it. Sorry, Scottish people in chat. You can have an English person tell you what currency you've got to have.
Why not even look? Any country that chooses a new currency and doesn't go with the Vietnamese dong is a fool.
Interested everywhere,
to be fair, dinar comes from denarius, and I think if there's one people who don't want to be associated with the Romans, it's probably Scotland.
Although, interestingly, lots of Roman coins have been found in Scotland, because apparently the Romans were just paying them off to not invade anymore.
Incredible scenes. I mean, maybe that's why it should be called the dinar then.
Yeah, because that's what Rome went bankrupt, because the Scots had it all. Yeah, fair enough.
It's the aim of it.
Is there actually going to be a building? Is there going to be a place?
So
do you know where it's
there is already a proposal for a government digital.
Is there going to be a building? What the fuck kind of question? Yeah. No, he's going to hold it in a fucking field, you dopey cunt. What? Oh, God, honestly.
Campus close to Manchester Piccadilly. So it is my intention, if I get the opportunity, is to base it there. And
will you be there yourself?
I will spend time there because I think it's really important to show a new drive.
Not really number 10 if the Prime Minister isn't there, right? Like, that's the point, surely, is that he has to spend some of the time there. Otherwise, it's just a government building in Manchester, and they already have those. They've got offices, you know.
Although it would be quite funny, though. I've gone from the security of Downing Street to just some building in a retail park in Manchester. Suddenly the Ruskies invade, and he's just like, oh, right, guys. Yeah. Hi.
Interestingly, I don't know if they still do this, but up until relatively recently, they used to carry around coins in the Prime Ministerial car at all times. And this was because before the days of mobile telecommunications, when the Prime Minister was driving from one location to another across the country, if they needed to order like a nuclear strike or something, they'd have to get the coins and go to a fucking phone box and ring London in order to be able to do that.
Honestly, we're a joke country.
Well, no, to be fair, back in the day that made sense, but why they carried it on after mobile phones, I'm not entirely sure.
True.
Look, Harold Wilson, that was necessary. Yeah, that had to happen, but from like Thatcher onwards, not really.
Around taking power out of Westminster. Why? To get growth in every postcode around the country. The country is not wired for growth at this moment in time. Right. I have shown in Greater Manchester how to get growth going. I want to take what we've done there, make it available to the Midlands, to the Southwest, to the east of England, all parts of it. And actually, here's something, and I didn't touch on this in the speech, give London a new devolution deal, more freedom to do more for itself, more powers over education, over housing, more economic development powers, because I think we can free London up, actually, to go much further and to remain the world's greatest capital city, which it is.
We can free it up to fuck off into the North Sea, away from us, yeah. I'm fine with that, actually, yeah.
See, unlike Kevin, I actually really like London.
No, I like London, it's very annoying. And it's loud. I mean, it's too big. Yeah. I don't know.
And the reality is, right, I know I've said this on stream before, but I think it's probably no better time to mention it than now for the segment later, is that London is really nice. It is really nice. It is, in my mind, one of the best capitals in the world.
It's the only, different reasons. It's the only genuinely great in the world sense city that we have. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Manchester and Glasgow, I think probably the other ones I'd put up there. But
no, they're not world cities, are they? They're big cities. They're nice cities, but like London is a legit like world city. You think of like London, Paris, New York, Beijing, Tokyo, some shit like that. Yeah. Like no offense to Glasgow or Manchester, but you're not in that league.
That's basically true. That's basically true, right? And I don't know if you've seen, Kevin, but the right wing, they're desperate to paint London as being terrible when obviously anyone who's spending any time there knows that it isn't, right?
Because there's a brown man in charge. Oh no.
Well, that's the thing, is that they've essentially given up winning London politically.
Yeah.
So what they have to do is scare everyone outside London into voting for reform and the Tories on the idea that you might become like London because you become brown. I'm like, yeah, become like London, it's great. There's loads of money in London. When the reality is if they actually wanted to win these people over in kind of the way that Andy Burnham would be doing right here, is to say to them and go, London gets all of the money. All of the money is in London, and they don't distribute it back to the north and the areas of the country that haven't got as much as it, and that's why it's nicer. But they can't do that because they're so obsessed with being racist. And on top of this, that would mean redistributing money away from where all the right-wingers work, which is the city of fucking London.
Yep. That's why the HS2, the only place that's benefiting from that is Birmingham, because rich Londoners can now use us as a commuter city.
literally, and that's the thing as well is that of all the people who think that the left behind areas are going to be fixed by Reform UK, what do you think that former Goldman Sachs banker Zia Yusuf, with the thickest, poshest southern accent you ever heard in your life, is going to care about the north? Do you think Nigel Farage, a man who went to Dulwich College and who was a commodities broker in the city of London, is going to care about the north and the left behind areas of this country, right? Do you think Richard Tice is going to care, property magnate based in fucking the United Arab Emirates?
Well, not just that, but look at their actual governing pattern. They say they're going to go in and the only cuts they're going to make are not to frontline services, to DEI. Then they realise there's no DEI, and like in Warwickshire, where they literally just cut school buses?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was really the problem with the Warwickshire fucking county council budget, was kids going to school.
Yeah, and there was another reform council that just cut all the capital budget. We've saved £10 million or whatever by cutting this capital investment. I'm like, yeah, you've saved £10 million once.
Yeah.
Because it's a capital expenditure, so you pay for it once, then you have the capital on hand. You actually have the actual physical thing that you bought, the asset. Now you don't have the asset, and then you pay off slightly less of the budget deficit this year, but then next year the budget's still going to be fucked because you don't have as better kind of inventory anymore.
Yeah. That's the problem with neoliberalism. Eventually you run out of things to sell off.
Exactly.
I know, thank you very much. Final question. If all goes well, you'll become Prime Minister the day after the World Cup final. If England wins, bank holiday.
Now, can I say, Andrew, we struggled, let's say. And full respect to the Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, but I think we might be getting ahead of ourselves. There's a very big game coming up on Sunday. We do have to live in hope. I think, it might be a bit premature to be starting.
So no is the answer.
Because literally, imagine if he did.
Yeah.
It's the easiest politics in the world to immediately become Prime Minister and immediately call for bank holidays. We celebrate England winning the World Cup, right?
Yeah. That would almost be providential. If the day you turn up, like England have just won the World Cup, everyone's happy, you get to go out there and be daddy big bollocks and go, everyone gets a day off, get fucking wasted, let's have you. Like, it would be, you literally cannot buy that level of PR. It's not possible. Yeah. That's like once in a lifetime, 100,000 fucking years thing. And he's gone,
oh, I don't know, we've got to get past Mexico first.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, to be fair, we probably will lose to Mexico.
Well, almost certainly, but that's not the point. It would be an easy win.
What's the crazy altitude in Mexico City?
Yeah, it's very high up, yeah. It's on a relatively flat piece of land because it's a plateau, but yeah, it's the... Mexico's a very... I didn't realise how massive it was. It's like 22 million people.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it?
It's fucking enormous. And literally it's over... Because they don't do, like, tenements particularly. They don't do, like, big buildings. So it's spread over a massive area as well. Like, geographically, the footprint is enormous. And, yeah, it's hugely above sea level. So the air's very thin. And it's still very hot, even though it's at that altitude, which is like a horrible combination.
Yeah, especially for Europeans to come and play football.
Yeah,
and then on top of this, so that this also has a huge effect when they have the Mexican Grand Prix, which is because the air is so thin, the downforce is worse.
The downforce. Yeah, so the cornering must be terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to corner really slowly, which means no one fucking overtakes, and the track is shit.
Yeah. Well,
terrible Grand Prix.
Well, yeah. But also, there's this is a little fact for you. to show you the difference in the kind of ups and downs of the altitude that English players are used to. Do you know the Football League ground highest above sea level in the English 92 league teams? It's West Bromwich Albion.
I was gonna say, is it in the West Midlands?
It is. It's West Bromwich Albion, literally down the road from me. And like, we're not mountainous. You know what I mean? We're not up the Alps here. Like, the English footballers just cannot comprehend 2,000 metres above sea level. That's ridiculous.
They should build a Cumbrian FC on the top of Great Gable.
Well, there are teams in the Pennines. They're just very small and shite. So they're not in the Football League. But yeah, there you go.
Speculating. But if it happened, you couldn't turn it down.
Well,
in all honesty,
it would be a fantastic moment, wouldn't it? And we can hope and pray that it comes off. But as I say, let's not. I'm an Evertonian. I do not.
Also, right, we've stolen everything else from them. If Egypt win, I reckon we just steal that World Cup and put it in the London museums. I'd be fine.
So true.
The British Museum's got it. Look. We might be losing the Parthenon marbles at some point, but I reckon we could definitely nick their World Cup. Yeah. Oh, God.
Never bag anything when it comes to football. I don't do it with England either. I think they've got a bit of improvement to do before we can start seriously dreaming of it coming home.
That be true. Andy.
Well, that could be a perfect description of the Labour Party, really. They've got a lot of fucking work to do as well. Dickhead.
Do you want to watch Morgan McSweetmeat?
You can do that if you wish, but I have been going a little while, and I'm sweaty and
no
tired.
Worries. That's true. You did Normal Island, didn't you? So that's fair enough. I will do Morgan McSweetmeat.
Yes, enjoy his dulcet Irish lilt as he talks
Moron
shite. Yeah. Anyway, I'll raid into you anyway, so I'll
no worries.
I'll say goodbye to
you...
my people, and yeah.
There's not any Laura Koonsbeck anymore, is there now? Is there one on Sunday?
I have no idea. If not, then we'll, I don't know, whatever.
No, well, we'll see you later anyway.
Okay.
Bye.
Ah, chitty chats and kitty cats. How are we all? Okay. No long outros from me. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Mexico has lost 2 of their last 57 matches at the Azteca Stadium. Yeah, it's a it's a bit of a glitch for them, isn't it? Oh, okay. I'll raid into No Justice on the YouTubes. And then on Twitch I'll find someone. I don't know. There she is. Morgan McMeep. Okay. On Twitch, let's have a look. Who is this person? I don't know. Cosmopolitics is going, so I'll send you over there. Okay, everyone. I'll be back. What day is it tomorrow? Saturday. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably be back with something, but I don't know. Okay. Thank you all for listening and watching. Free Palestine and all that jazz. No, pass around.